Puppy and Dendy of Navi joining us now. How are you feeling going into the grand final?
Feel very excited. This is an amazing moment because I've been here for the third time already, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Good.
You've been watching Alliance. They've only lost one game this entire tournament. Does that affect your mental state, your mental awareness going into this, or are you just more focused on your game?
We have some strategies to use against them. Yeah, they're very fucking good, and I do want to play against them once more, and this is pretty much what's gonna happen. So they're the best team in the world right now.
Good.
I am never going to engage Dendy in a staring contest in my life.
You can do it.
Really? Oh, I don't think so. I'm watching this happen.
Clement Ivanov, Puppy, Estonia, Tartuk.
Alexander Dashkevich, Host, Kiev, Ukraine.
Kurozale Takhazomi, Kuroki, Berlin, Germany.
Gleb Lepatnikov, Fanik, Kharkiv, Ukraine.
Данил Шутин, Dendy, Lviv, Ukraine.
Navi's third finals, and still time for fun and games it seems there with Dendy, and they are a team that stay in very high spirits, but also because of that they always believe that they can come back in bad situations and bounce back, and really that's why they're in the grand finals. They are the bounce back team of the tournament. What do you guys make of them? If someone new is watching Dota 2 right now and doesn't know who Navi is, how would you describe them going into the grand finals?
I mean, as you were saying, they're the most tenacious team, and they're so experienced that they know that if they just have fun with the game, they're still going to win the game. And that's what we saw last year. They had a terrible group stage run. Then they came into the tournament. They were like, how do we counter Naga Siren? They picked up the Juggernaut and started working wonders with that lineup. This tournament, we see them picking Pudge and winning important games with it, very important games. They've picked some very out-of-the-box lineups, and they just seem to enjoy the game much more than some of these disciplined teams do.
They certainly don't like discipline, and I think they're really good at just they lose their first game in the series quite often, but they're really good at just resetting and just focusing on the game, not getting emotionally disturbed and letting their morale get affected.
Bruno, Bruno, Navi in a nutshell.
Heart. I think that's the only word. These guys play with heart. They do not play with their brains.
All right, well, let's introduce their opponents then, and we'll see what they'll be playing with. It's Alliance to the grand finals.
We have Ake and Loda with Alliance joining us now. How are you guys feeling going into the grand final?
It feels great to be in the grand finals, to be able to play this. It's like we couldn't dream of this, so it feels great. And
you guys have played together for so long, so how does that feel coming into this as friends even?
Yeah, it feels very awesome. It's always good to have Ake at your side. It makes me feel comfortable and no pressure and everything like that, so it feels really great.
I'm assuming you've been watching all of the matches. What did you think of Navi's comeback in that last one?
It was a pretty sad turn for Orange, but at the same time I was so impressed by Orange's plays throughout the whole week. They lost the first round in the winner bracket, and then to come all the way that they did, I think they should be so proud of what they have done.
Yeah, all the teams have been so fun to watch. Good luck to both of you, and you've taught me. I know we're not sending it back to James, but this is what I would say in Swedish if I were. Tillbaka till det, James, right?
That's very good.
Sure.
Henrik Amberg, Admiral Bulldog, Trollhättan, Sweden.
Joachim Achterhall, Aki, Gothenburg, Sweden.
Jerry Lundqvist, EGM, Sweden, Västerås.
Jonathan Berg, Loda, Gothenburg, Sweden.
Gustav Magnusson, S4, Stockholm, Sweden.
So there we have it, Alliance, the team that have performed, impressed, and still the team to beat going into the grand finals. Admiral Bulldog, S4, Ake, EGM and Loda. Not a weak link, not a weak play, not a weak strategy. They haven't really shown weakness at all over the tournament, and they can take this. This is theirs to win. This is a big storyline for the boys from Sweden, and it's Navi again that are going to have to try and stop them. So it looks like we're going to be ready to go into the game, guys. So I'm going to have to ask you, who's going to take map 1 and why? Who's going to come out strong straight from the get-go?
I think Navi's going to come out guns blazing and actually take game 1 from Alliance. they're too locked down in their playstyle right now. So and Navi knows how they play, so they're gonna come out and maybe take game one and surprise Alliance, and then Alliance is gonna gain their composure for the following games.
I think it's going to be Alliance. Navi, they lost 2 games with West. They gave EGM Nagasiren twice. It just doesn't seem like their draft is really strong. Maybe as the series progresses, they'll be able to adapt more to how Alliance plays, but they haven't faced them enough, I don't think, to take the first game out strong.
I have one fan from each team trying to bribe me with swag, so that I would say either Navi or Alliance. So I'm going to take both at the same time. So I have from the Alliance guy this, from the Navi guy this. This looks really weird. And I'm going to go with both.
Just setting trends. All right, Bruno. We're going to have to get you off camera for multiple reasons to the quality of the show. But either way, it's about to get good, because this is going to be the grand finals, guys. It's going to be map 1 against Alliance and Navi. Losing my words. Bruno, please put your hat back on. It's all good. So over to LD and Lumi. Take it away for the grand finals.
Please give a warm welcome to the finest Dota teams in the world. Hailing from Sweden, the only team to go undefeated through group stage, entering the grand finals for the first time, Alliance. Former international champion, second runner-up of last year's tournament, and now fighting to become the first two-time champion. Navi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand finals of the International 3. Navi versus the Alliance. The Alliance yet to drop in a set in the entire main event, undefeated through the group stage, but Navi returning for the third time, looking for their second championship.
This is truly a David versus Goliath situation, and when you say that Navi is the David, nobody will believe that they are the 3 times returning to the grand finals, but I'm not sure who they're going to take it.
Alliance looked just undefeatable in that last match against Navi. Took them down 2-0, did it in style. Navi, though, they battled back. They got knocked down to the losers bracket, and where there was a will, there was a way. Unbelievable performance against Orange, and here they are. They've got another crack at it. It'll be a straight best of 5, no advantage. If anyone can find a way to beat the Alliance, it probably is Puppey.
It's Puppey's been playing some crazy strat. We see what they did in TI2, the Naga Siren, the Enigma, the Darkseer combo. That was it. Nobody broke that strat. Navi was the first team to do it. They rose to the grand final because of it. And now, within the grand final, they need to do something special. Puppey needs to find a way because the Alliance are the heavy favorites right now.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the most creative and innovative captain in the history of Dota 2. He's come up with so many strategies, and we've seen everything from Navi at times in the past. This tournament, they have not, Puppey's actually said they haven't shown their hand. He said they've been hiding strats, so we're going to have to find out if those hidden strats are going to work. Because the Alliance, it's been mostly the same strat every single game. Somewhat times different heroes, they've shown versatility in picks, but if it ain't broken, Lumi, why fix it? Same strat, but can you beat it? You know it's coming.
The scary thing is Alliance, like you said, is playing standard, and if they drop a game or maybe 2 games, they're bringing out their strats.
Yeah, let's not forget, this is the team that did the level 1 Roche. Prophet suicides the Roche, you bait the enemy team in, then you wipe them. They did the fake Roche where they pick her, so they pick Wisp, they wrap around, they smoke gank you from behind. I mean, if anyone can be creative here, it is going to be the Alliance. And Navi likes that Radiant side in general. They've normally been going for it, so if they do get it again, well, then the Alliance maybe pulls something out of the hat.
Very likely, we could see that this entire series, we're going to have Navi going to play the entire Radiant side, and we're going to see Dire being handled by Alliance. But I really think that, you talked about the Roshan strategy. I think that's going to be huge. Don't forget the level 1 TP Roshan from Alliance.
Yeah, there's so many options, and I think one of the most interesting things about this matchup is the way the last series unfolded, where you saw Alliance not banning Wisp when Navi had first pick. They gave away Wisp, and then they took it down twice. So if Navi have first pick again, they have a tough choice, right? Because if you're not going to pick Wisp with the first pick, generally what we've seen is you ban it out. And that's how Alliance has taken advantage of a lot of the Chinese teams who don't run Wisp particularly well. So if you don't take it with the first pick, then Alliance can get Wisp and another hero with the second pick. So Navi, they have to be a little bit worried about that. Could factor into their mentality coming into this game.
For those of you guys that are just tuning into the Grand Finals and wondering what is Wisp, why are we talking so much about the Wisp? Wisp is often considered as the most broken hero in the current Dota game.
She changes the game. She changes the complexion of the game. It's like in professional American football, if you have a Randy Moss, a player who is a threat to score a touchdown from 100 yards out on any given play, you have to play a fundamentally different style of Dota. So whether Wisp is banned or not, whether Navi picks it or not, just the way that last series went, has to have an effect on how Navi chooses to draft.
If it's not strategy, it's definitely confidence. You're giving away the best hero in Dota. You beat them cleanly in a 2-0 sweep. I'm afraid for Navi.
Game 1. We're loading in now. Are you ready, Lumi?
I am, although please refrain from the football jokes, because I'm not following you there.
I ain't joking with you. We're straight up here.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Jumping to the draft here. Navi is going to get the Radiant side. Alliance on the Dire. Of course, I am Luminous and joined by my main man, LD. Are you ready?
I am. It's game 1 of a best-of-5. Winner takes home $1.4 million. The loser, just a little over 600,000. The bans will now come out. So far, Navi removing the Chen. Puppey definitely plays a good one, but Ake has really been on the ball. They'll ban out the Chen. The Alliance removes the Havos Lifestealer. Still Wisp in the pool, still Batrider in the pool, and let's not forget Alliance is on the Dire side. So if they want to do some either level 1 road strats or just make Navi think they are, they definitely have that option.
Well, we'll definitely see level 1 Roshan if we see some kind of awesome weird hero like Ursa, but we'll table that discussion for a bit and focus a little bit about the bans here. Do you give away a Batrider? Do you give away Wisp? Do you leave both of those heroes in the pool? No, Alliance says, sure, you know, you have to pick. We're going to leave some OP heroes here.
Yeah, they're basically saying it's your choice. Let's see what Puppey wants to do, and we're going to react to it. They have the comfort of being able to react. And now, well, it will be first pick Alliance here. Let's see, what are they going to go for with that first pick?
I mean, this is a bold move for both Alliance and Navi. They're saying, you know what, let's leave the broken heroes in the pool, and we'll play full-out Dota.
And the tables have turned. It's Navi's turn to give away the Wisp, and they're going to see if they can defeat it. They now go for a Batrider and a Visage. Now, we have seen Visage so dominant in the laning stage. Wisp, if she gets to level 6, the game changes. But Visage is one of those heroes that can just win the game before anyone gets to level 6. And now the Alliance will pick up the Bulldog Prophet. So they had their choice. They don't go for the Lone Druid. They take the Prophet instead.
Now the difference between Lone Druid versus the Prophet here, both of Admiral Bulldog's really good heroes that Nature's Prophet will gank alongside with the Wisp. We know that Navi would like to defend their heroes, they like to defend their towers, and when you have a big clash, a chaotic fight going on somewhere on the map, Prophet is the best hero to join that fight with his spells, with his ultimate, of course with his right click. So I really like this pickup over the Lone Druid, who is a little bit less mobile as a hero.
I gotta say, I'm having slight flashbacks to the International too, because right now Dendi and Havos are grinning their heads off. It reminds you of Light of Heaven in that epic game where they defeated the combo, the Naga, Tidehunter, as well as Darkseer. They've got that kind of grin on their faces now, so what's up their sleeve? We're gonna find out soon. Now the band's coming forth. Navi removing out Juggernaut, and then on the Alliance's side, a Weaver. What are they gonna ban next?
I have no idea, because trying to predict these two masters of Drafter, S4 on one side and Puppey on the other, is going to be extremely hard. So far, all of these bans looks targeted and standard. And of course, Weaver targeting Havos, one of his best heroes. And I think Puppey is planning something.
Yeah, he's at least trying to make us think he's planning something. Let's see if he actually is. It's always the mind games with him. As for S4, you've started with a Prophet as well as a Wisp. Now they're going to need some heroes that can fight. They don't have their they don't have the S4 hero yet for the solo mid role. We don't know what Load is going to play as a carry. What might they run in combination with this Wisp? Navi ban out Juggernaut. There is still a Gyrocopter. We've seen that a decent amount from Alliance, and it's a pretty good early to mid-game fighting hero in combination with a Wisp. But what do you think, Lumi, Chaos Knight, Tiny, these are your go-tos. What are Alliance going to combo up with it?
I think their favorite go-to hero for Alliance at least is going to be the Phantom Assassin. We saw that in the G1 LAN final. You park your PA, you park your Wisp in a safe lane. In fact, you can even go offensive with your Nature's Prophet and a Jungle Enchantress. Backstab gangs all day. So I'm predicting a Phantom Assassin. I'm predicting an Enchantress. But we'll see exactly what Alliance thinks.
I like this ban a lot from Navi because they remove Keeper of the Light. And Ake, as magnificent as his jungle play is, I think his Keeper of the Light just might be scarier this tournament, especially because of the style they've been favoring, which is split push, slowly and steadily accruing an advantage, distributing the resources on the map more favorably for themselves. And once they reach critical mass, then they go from taking a few pickoffs to really forcing the fights. Keeper of the Light, the best hero to kind of adapt. If you're ahead, he prevents your opponents from getting back in the game by pushing. And if you're behind, well, he hangs on while Loda farms up.
I like the fact that you brought up support heroes, because so far we have not seen the Naga Siren, who Navi has given away 2 games in a row to Alliance, because you don't have a very, very...
Uh-oh.
What's
something's fishy here, Lumi.
Well, let's table that for a bit, and maybe it'll make sense in a bit, but...
Yeah, the Venomancer has been snapped up, and the question is going to be, how does the Alliance look to respond? Does this phase them at all? Because we have seen, I think it has been Navi in the past who've taken Veno early, and sometimes it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, it's a hero that doesn't have innate stun. He sure has damage over time, but it's very, very slow. So it gives you a great slow early on, but mid-game and especially late game, this hero does absolutely next to nothing.
It does very little compared to the other options in the pool. Like, for example, if they wanted a Keeper of the Light later on, he's very useful. In some ways, even gets better. Venomancer, we have seen Hobos play this as a farmer. I don't know if it's something we'd see this game. We'd probably expect it to be either Kuroki or Puppy's hero, but now Alliance, a third pick Veno could throw you off. So how does S4 respond?
Well, we're going to see a Gyrocopter so far here, just a very standard and stable hero. Vengeful Spirit immediately snapped up here.
Look at the aggression from Navi.
I just want to point out that we do not see a traditional carry hero on Navi's side just yet. Vengeful Spirit may be that carry hero. Venomancer may be that carry hero. Navi, they've done this in the past. They farmed Venge in the past. They farmed Veno in the past, but I think Alliance has something up their sleeve. I think we might see something like a Spirit Breaker. Well, it's just my guess, but we'll see if they're going to... No, never mind. Take that back.
Hold that thought. It's going to be an Ake Enchantress. They expect a lot of aggression from Navi. When you see Venomancer, Visage, and Venge, these are 3 of the strongest level 1 supports in the game, and one of them will be farming. So a lot of burst damage, the potential to go aggressive trying and kill anyone, even a Gyrocopter. If he gets Gale'd and the follow-up is there for the Magic Missile, he is going to die. Alliance, though, Ake, I think he is in the world the best jungler to counter aggressive tri-lanes. We've seen Extinct, Puppy, fantastic gankers, fantastic at reacting, but Ake is really good at relieving the pressure on the aggressive tri-lane. So let's see if he can pull it off here. We expect Alliance to go defensive tri-lane, but the book is out now. This is where, like you said, they don't have a carry on Navi, at least not a traditional one, but they do have some good Midas armor from Venge. Are we looking at a Dendi Shadow Fiend?
That could be it. Shadow Fiend, so far you don't really have a disadvantaged matchup, but at the same time you're dealing with global TP, so you have to get the BKB as soon as possible. Dendi, the way that he plays the Shadow Fiend, he doesn't go BKB.
They want someone mid, and they don't want Dendi to lose his lane, so they ban out the OD. Arguably the strongest 1v1 mid in the game, definitely in the top 5 there. This does pave the way for a Shadow Fiend, but Alliance have not tipped their hand either, and they're going to get a chance to counterpick if they want whatever Dendi's snapping up. So S4 might be able to match him blow for blow. There is a Queen of Pain in the pool. Looking at the other S4 heroes, does anything else jump out to you?
No, Queen of Pain gets banned out as well, so S4 is also preparing for a very, very crazy pick for himself. He doesn't want to get countered in a sense by Navi snapping up that.
Are we going to see the return of the S4 Mag this game? Because that core is so strong if you get through the lanes. Magnus, Prophet, Gyro on the Dire side with the ability that the Alliance has to just get their jungle ultra stacked. It's a bounty hunter for Navi. There is no clear carry on this team, and it's just all offense. They want to face rush the Alliance.
I mean, question marks are up in the air right now. Are we going to see a Vengeful Spirit carry? Are we going to see a Venomancer carry? Traditionally, these two aren't really good at carry. You need a ton of items. You need a ton of farm.
Is it a farming Visage? I mean, to be honest, any 3 of these heroes could get the farm in that lane.
They can, but what we can expect out of this is a Batrider solo mid, correct?
It's probably a Batrider solo mid, most likely the Funnic Bounty Hunter to the safe lane. Navi, aggressive tri-lane is coming. How will S4 respond?
Or it could be just a standard defensive tri-lane. I don't know. Like, this Navi lineup is just so strange. We have never seen anything like it.
I feel like they have to go aggressive here. You're giving up. If you don't go aggressive, we've seen what the Alliance do. Because not only are they farming a Wisp and getting to level 6, they'll stack the jungle for Loda on his gyrocopter. They will even allow Bulldog to pull some camps to secure a really fast Midas. And it's a clockwork for S4. The draft is now complete.
And it's going to be a Havos Vengeful Spirit as he selects a hero, unless we're going to see any swaps.
Game 1, the Alliance versus Navi, 2 Titans from Europe. These guys, they've only met before on LAN once. And the last time they met, Alliance took care of business. They took down Navi 2-0. Will Puppey, will Dendi, will the rest of this Navi squad, KuroKy, Havos, Funnick, will they find a way? It's been a miraculous run for them. The Fountain Hooks, we've seen as well in their last match against Orange, a bit of fate going their way. Can things continue to roll for them?
Things continue, they have to continue to roll because they're not here just to say, you know what, let's go back to the grand finals for 600K.
They have tasted first place, and once you get a taste of it, there is no going back. Nothing else will do. The draft now complete. It's time to get into it. Game 1 of the International 3 Grand Finals is now underway. $1.4 million and change to the winner, over $600,000 to the loser. On the side of the Alliance, yet to drop a set, we have S4, the captain on the clockwork, Loda, your gyrocopter. EGM, the EO, will have a very quick pause, I hope. Ake on the Enchantress. And in the base, it'll be Bulldog, your nature's prophet. And on the Radiant side, Team Navi, KuroKy the Visage, Havos the Vengeful Spirit, looking like we might see a farming Venge. Dendi on the solo mid Batrider, Puppey the captain on the Venomancer. And that leaves Funnick as your safe lane bounty hunter. The pause is going down now. Here we go. Back into game 1. What are you expecting, Lumi?
I expect a lot of kills coming on this tri-lane. This tri-lane up top is going to decide much of the early game.
Hold that thought. We'll have another pause here. So, I mean, we look at Navi's lineup right now. They have track gold. They have supports that really get out of control if they have a good start, right? You have Soul Assumption. You have Familiars if you hit a fast level 6. Venomancer, if he's ahead, can just run anyone down. If Navi gets ahead, it will be very hard for the Alliance to hold on to territory. It will be very hard to get their Wisp level 6, but if it goes the other way, if Alliance get a good start, they have the clearly superior late game.
Clearly superior mid-game as well, because when you see Alliance and they pick up BKB on Gyrocopter, what is the Vengeful Spirit going to do? What is the Visage going to do? There's really lacking physical damage. Now, with that said, Vengeful Spirit is going to give you a physical damage increased aura. She's going to give you minus armor, so there is some weapons, but it's just, I don't think that's enough.
They have some access into late game. Bounty Hunter is a pretty decent semi-carry. Venge, a decent semi-carry. But you look at the Alliance, they have a Prophet, one of the strongest heroes in the late game, not in combat directly, but for his ability to farm and split push. They have a great global lineup as well. And Navi, heroes that don't really flash farm. That's the other thing to keep your mind on. Batrider is a great farmer in the jungle, but Venge, Venomancer, Visage do not farm all that quickly. Bounty Hunter doesn't either, unless he decides to go for a Battle Fury, which we don't expect at all. So if Navi fall behind, their ability to farm fairly limited. Alliance talking things over. They've got a moment here. They seem very calm.
Well, looks like Batrider has reconnect. I'm surprised that there's pauses going on. We do have Merlini outside, just waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I think Merlini's, he's had a hard week, buddy. He's taking a nap right now. Put the police cap off and he's lying down for a snooze.
I don't think any Dota player in the world right now is taking the cap off, because this is the grand final of one of the huge, this is the biggest prize pool.
The biggest esports tournament ever.
How do you sleep during this game?
You don't.
Yeah,
you try to, we're going to wake you up. So game 1, soon to fall, underway. So we talked a lot about Navi's draft, and we don't have it on pause yet. So if you look at Alliance, I think for them, all they have to do is withstand the storm early on. Be prepared for ganks, get your wards right, don't get caught at level 1, hang on until Bulldog starts to kick in, gets his level 6. He can bail out the tri-lane. Of course, once you have S4 getting level 6, has access to hook. If Navi dives that tier 1 top, and already there's a Prophet with his ult coming in, the clockwork rotates, Navi could instantly lose one fight, and on that very one fight, just lose this game.
I completely agree. Although with that said, Vengeful Spirit as well as your Soul Assumption Visage, they have so much burst power that you can get that one kill and get back out. So that I think Navi is going to use the speed of their killing to their advantage. Let's see, I mean, but back to your point, Clockwork as well as Prophet, once they make the TP in, that's going to be over. Yeah, it's going to be really hard.
The only team to take a game off of the Alliance this entire tournament was Team DK. And they did it a completely different way. They did it on the back of Burning going out of control in his anti-mage. They did it on the back of a really strong 4 Protect 1 mid-game lineup where once anti-mage gets 4 or 5 slotted, you go and break their base before Alliance's superior late game can kick in while you have basically while you're at the zenith of your economic advantage. But I mean, are we going to see Navi win with a completely different style? This is a radically different approach.
It is different. At the same time, also somewhat similar to Game 2 with, during the winner bracket finals when they ran the Tidehunter solo mid. It was a pushing shred, got all 6 towers in 15 minutes, but they couldn't do it. So you got to hit your timing. Very importantly, you got to hit it right on. And this is, to me, a timing kind of base lineup. You got to make sure you knock down towers early. You got to make sure you get a ton of kills early, and you got to focus Loda. Loda was able to free farm on Alchemist on both those games, and you just don't beat a free farm Alchemist.
Yeah, Alliance has, and I think that's really worth talking about, is the contrast in these two teams. And we can start with the carries, because you look at Navi, Havost is fighting from like minute 5 to 8, and he never stops fighting. Constantly infesting Dendy as Lifestealer, constantly diving towers as Weaver, picking up kill after kill after kill. He's a lot of pressure early on. With Alliance, they asked Loda to perform a very different role. They say, Loda, we'll shoulder the burden in the early game. We will fight early, you will farm, and then later you will carry us. So it's a very different style for Navi. And I mean, Loda's going to be on a hero that doesn't even fight for minute 5. Or rather, Havost will be on a hero that doesn't even fight for minute 5. His hero is going to fight for minute 1.
Yes. I mean, the big difference in this game, though, also for Loda is that he can fight at minute 5 because he has a Wisp. So look towards that mid game where a chaotic fight breaks out on the other side of the map, and Loda is going to join. And with that said, it means he could farm, he could fight whenever he wants, and that's the power of Wisp. And of course, I just have to remind everybody, Navi gave it away.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it's, again, they knew what they were doing, just like the Alliance knew what they were doing. Now, they knew what they were doing, and for the Alliance it worked. Navi know what they were doing, but will it work? That's the difference here, and that's going to be the question. Ake does have an early smoke here, so don't be surprised if we see him maybe even go for an early gank on that lane if he gets the right creeps. Enchantress, I think in this situation actually is better than Chen, because you can have 2 creeps, you know all you have to do is shut down Navi's tri-lane, and you pretty much win the game. And if he gets the 2 right creeps, he shows up at the right moment. Enchantress she's not one hero, right? She's like 2 or 3 with those creeps. So
yeah, you could actually get like 3 creeps in the beginning.
I think for Alliance, my hero to keep an eye on is actually going to be Ake. If Ake is a good laning stage, if he sets up a kill or 2, Alliance could just run away with game 1. But let's remember, it is game 1 of a best of 5, so Navi can experiment here, and if it doesn't work, they can try something different in game 2.
I like how you're just talking about strat, and you're waiting for me to jump in.
And you're just
leave me hanging. Ellie, you got this.
This is standard.
Because right now, we have a long pause. Can we just toss the strategy out the window for a bit? Because we've been talking about strategy for like the past 5-10 minutes.
Let's toss it out.
I want to know who in the crowd is cheering for Navi, and who is the crowd cheering for Alliance. So, Navi? Is that okay?
I was lukewarm. On the other side, of course, we have the Alliance.
I think Alliance is...
It was pretty close.
Yeah.
I think they're anxious for the game to start.
Me too.
I'm a little anxious. We're only giving away $2 million and change from this one best of 5. No big deal. It's just... It's the biggest Dota games that have ever been played.
This is somewhat nostalgic, like going back to your old Dota 1 tournaments, and there was nothing but disconnects. There was nothing but like wait times.
All that training, Lumi, it's prepared you for this moment.
Yeah, and you know, is it working well? Is the training going well?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're still paused here. Both teams, I imagine, get a little antsy. They want to get game 1 underway. So we actually haven't done our predictions, Lumi. I think we can put ourselves on the record here and then be forever flamed and shamed if we're wrong. Predictions? We're actually going to unpause, so real quick.
3-2 Navi.
3-2 Navi. Oh man, a bold prediction from Lumi. I'm going to go with the safe and stable bet here. I'm going to say Alliance take it 3-1. And on that note, we're back underway. Game 1, Alliance versus Navi. Here we go.
Very, very good defensive warding here coming out all both camps. But of course, Wisp got the first ward down, so look towards this one being immediately dewarded, which allows Alliance to actually set up some ganks in the mid lane. There you go. Bye-bye, ward. You were on the stage for like 5 seconds.
It was a short and not so sweet life. And that's actually a big deal. Not having that ward for Navi when you're running the aggressive tri-lane against an Enchantress means if Ake decides to gank without a smoke, they're not going to see it coming. Now, remember that in the old versions of Dota, or even in the previous patch, you could buy 2 sets of wards at level 1. Now you only get 1 set of observer wards before the creeps spawn.
So Puppey could just deward this if he wants to do so. Choosing not to do it yet has another ward over here on this side. That is going to be important, but at the same time means you do not have sight in the jungle. And not having sight in the jungle against an Enchantress is almost suicidal. That first deward meant so much for Alliance.
All right, so Alliance is actually doing something very different here. Looks like they want to dodge that aggressive tri-lane. They're going to send their Gyrocopter as well as Wisp to the bottom lane. And early on, that puts Funnick in a 1v2 against a dual lane that, if they have sentries, could definitely kill him. And they've got one on EGM. He's got to be careful here. He does not have boots. Normally, Funnick has boots, but it looks like he was expecting the Prophet versus Bounty Hunter matchup. And if you have that matchup, you really want the Poor Man Shield. Poor Man Shield is not going to help you too much against Wisp and Gyrocopter.
Well, it's going to help a little bit with the harass coming out from Wisp, but for the most part, he's coming right in. There is a sentry war on the ground. If he gets tether stun here, ooh, nothing just yet. Funnick coming in, sapping a little bit of experience. Obviously, we expect this lane to go towards Loda and as well as EGM. 2v1 against a melee hero. It should be fairly easy. What about mid here? S4 on his Clockwork against one of those most dominant mid hero, Dendy's Bat.
Yeah, Clockwork's pretty good against Bat because you have the cogs if he ever really wants to go on you. If he dives you at your tower, sure, there's Firefly, but you have the Battery Assault. And getting those mini stuns off, maybe you disrupt him for a moment. I think it's an okay match for S4. He's going to lose the lane, but his goal is just to get level 6, hang on, and angle for mid-game dominance. If Bulldog's not dying here in the top lane, I think that's pretty much what they're looking for. Havost does, or rather Funnick, has to be very careful bottom. So early on, looking at this tri-lane Lumi, do you think we're going to see any unusual skill builds from Navi? Because these are generally support heroes, all 3 that they're running here. Or is it possible they get aggressive and just play sort of your standard kill early on support style builds?
Already right from get-go here, if you look at Puppey's skill build, he has selected his passive Poison Sting. Generally, you always go Venomous Gale as it is one of those strongest early game spell. And I think the reason that he has gone for Poison Sting, as we do see a gank on the Centaur. Nice stop here. Any gonna be killed? Deny here. Looking for Ake, and they are gonna get denied.
Beautiful
No
deny.
early game EXP and go for you guys. And the reason you go for Poison Sting is it actually helps you for a push. It gives you like 5 extra damage-ish. It's I mean, there's no other reason to really go for Poison Sting early on.
Basically, you can hit each creep once, and then they'll slowly tick down. Whereas if you go for the Gale, you're not going to spam it. Gale, very expensive in terms of mana at the early levels. We'll see Funnick pick up a nice regen rune. I'll head back to the bottom lane. So if you're Alliance, your goal is to not fall too far behind in the laning stage. You have the mid-game to fall back on. And so far, they're not dying. We see Ake getting good levels out of the jungle. You look at Navi's tri-lane, and their supports are both level 1. S4, in terms of the middle lane, sitting 11-1 to the 12-3 of Dendy. I think everything's going quite well here for the Alliance. The pressure is on Navi, not on the Alliance.
Exactly. When you run an offensive tri-lane, you need to get things done quick and early. And of course, there's a ticking time bomb on the bot lane here, Alliance with EGM on the Wisp. Once he hits a level 6, suddenly this game transforms to something completely different. Of course, Gyrocopter is one of those early game carry heroes that could get into these team fights. So look towards Loda as well as EGM playing very close to each other throughout this game and looking to set up kills all of them now.
All right, Ake smoked up, heading towards the middle lane. Dendy, no mana right now. The courier's about to come in. It should have his boots as well as his bottle. And this might be an opening, but he's head up to the high ground. And it looks like the moment may have passed. Rocket coming in, canceling Dendy's bottle charge. Ake will decide that's not a good gank. He'll back off, and he's going to head back into his own jungle. Does he actually want to make a go on top? Because this is not a very strong ganking combo. I think he's just going to sit back here.
If he could get Kuroki somewhat out of position with the Centaur Stomp, he does have a clap creep now as well here.
S4's really playing well in this middle lane, just constantly using the cogs, burning Dendy's mana, preventing him from being aggressive, but it's bottom lane where they've gone in on Funnick. He's dropping pretty low. There's another Rocket Barrage. There's still a dust here. It's first blood, and it goes to the Alliance.
Very, very early. Oh, Loda.
Oh.
It's going to survive. That was pretty close.
That tango, that salve, making the difference here. And it's what we talked about. I mean, Wisp, Gyro, do have the power to kill a bounty early on.
Yeah, and of course, I think they might be going for a second one here. As the creep wave is pushing in, there's another dust available. That's going to be cool down for about 30 more seconds. So look towards Alliance making yet another play under the tower very soon.
Yeah, they killed off Funnick in the bottom lane. The mid lane, they're trading evenly. The Prophet top lane for Bulldog has not died. They're running a jungler. The supports of Navi are only level 2 to the 3 and 4 of Alliance. Alliance is already pretty damn far ahead on the better late game lineup.
Yeah, so far seems like this Navi early game kind of rush strat on the top lane has not really been panning out. Of course, Funnick's got to be very, very careful on the bot lane. Dust is ready to go right now, and if Funnick's not careful enough, a single Dust will be the death of him. Keep in mind that he cannot win walk away. In fact, if he decides to win walk away, he'll be slowed down by the Dust, 10% slow on the newest patch.
We're 5 minutes in, golden experience is even, and Funnick is getting close to level 6, but now the phase boot's coming out for Loda. A very slow, a very deliberate start for both teams. There is so much on the line. You drop game 1, all of a sudden, the series gets a whole lot harder for you. Navi, they've gone for something very unconventional with their picks. Can they make it work? So far, we're not seeing it, but we do have to remember their ability to find kills in the mid game is outstanding. So much burst, so much lockdown. But for the time being, they need a few items and a few levels to make it happen.
Yeah, very interesting adjustment of skill build.
Round 2, wrapping around. Dendi in a bit of trouble here. There's 2 Hellbear Smashers, but he's going to head north. Hooked and caught out by S4, but he heads north again. Juking here, jiving there, and he's going to dodge it. Up to the tree line he goes. He's got no TP, but he's got stick charges in the south. We'll head back into the river. The Hellbears are there. Clap number 1. But it looks like he should live. No, double clap, but he's got boots. He's still got the stick charges. Should be fine. Meanwhile,
Rocket's going to hit, cancels the south. Dendi dropping precariously low. But
meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like they made a go on Bulldog. He's forced back to base, but now gets his boots and has 600 gold. He's against an aggressive tri-lane. He has not died. He hasn't lost his tower. And he's not that far off of a Midas. Could have won by like the 8 to 10 minute mark.
Yeah, this is one of the strangest pushing tri-lane I've ever seen. I mean, if you look at their skill build here, you have 1 point into play work, so they are going to get a tower here. Ake trying to deny it with the creep. You also have Kuroki getting a point in early Gravekeeper's Cloak, expecting some kind of early game dive, but with a tier 1 tower going up down, I think we are going to see Puppey as well as Kuroki starting to make some rotation towards the mid lane.
Yeah, meanwhile, the ticking time bomb you spoke about, EGM in an aggressive dual lane as a Wisp is already 1 level from 6. And then you have to look at Navi. Havost pretty survivable with his phase boots, but Puppey 560 HP at max with just basic boots, Kuroki 682 and the Gravekeeper's Cloak to help keep him alive. These heroes, if they get caught by relocate, they're just dead. I mean, they are flat out not going to live through that.
Yeah, it's very important to get basically 4 staves or blink daggers, any kind of instant mobility item to get you away from those relocates.
And in order to do that, you need to farm. And you look at their supports, they're not getting a whole lot.
Exactly. They're not getting too much ganks off. They're not getting too many tower kills. And because of that, under-level, under-farmed, and Navi struggling on this early game. When DK beat Alliance, they were doing quite well. They were, I think, winning every single lane. So Navi definitely not going down that route to secure a win. Let's see how they could do it.
But this is a very kind of classic Navi lineup in the sense that it can snowball really hard. And that's what Navi's always been about. Aggression in the first 10 to 20 minutes of the game, sometimes even in the first 5. So far, the aggression yet to come. 8 minutes in, but you gotta know it's only the calm before the storm. And here comes S4. Level 3 battery assault, the more aggressive killing build. He wants to find a pick. He's up in the Navi jungle, hunting, heading towards the bottom lane.
There's a courier.
There's level 6. There's some TPs on Navi. Oh, Funnick gonna be spotted out, but there's no gem here. And now the rotation coming in from Ake. He'll pick up a creep as well. They're gonna rotate Puppey off the top lane. Both teams now Ake healing up, Funnick driven back. They're not going to find any kills yet, but with the dust that should be on the Wisp, yeah, there still is a dust charge. If they try to go again, it could go south, but here they go. On to Ake, DD for S4. Ake dropping fast, he's going to fall, but S4, he's found Funnick, now tethered, blown up by the Ake creep, fighting from beyond the grave. Now Kuroki, sprouted, locked in place, but here comes big, bad Dendi, but no, it's too much damage from Loda. 3-1. Already Navi on the back foot.
We just talked about Loda generally not liking to join early game fights because he wants to farm, but this game making the quick rotation, helping out his allies. Of course, EGN came first, and of course, even though there was a track kill that went the way of Navi, it was like a 1 or 2 person track kill, so Alliance coming out ahead, and they are staying ahead because They are winning every single lane right now.
And you look at Alliance, they don't need gold nearly as much as they need experience, and they are leading in terms of experience. Every single hero level 5 or higher. That Wisp for EGM, 1 creep wave most likely off of level 6, and once he hits level 6, Navi, a lineup that wants to push early, a lineup that wants to find a lot of kills. When you are ganking, you'd better be ganking the Wisp or the Prophet, and ideally both, because if not, then they're just going to counter-gank the crap out of you.
Funnick is scouted. If this is the Wisp, there you go, they know exactly where he is now.
The orb's going to start splashing, and Funnick will rotate back for the time being. EGM, he knows how close to level 6 he is. He needs that 1 creep, and now he's got it. So the threat of relocate, it's on the board, the Alliance. Lumi, they've weathered the storm through the laning stage, and you got to say, although to a new fan of Dota, this might look like a dead-even game strategically, it's a huge advantage for the Alliance.
Yeah, and of course, if you look at Navi's, the way they're playing right now, all 4 or 5 are hovering very close to the mid lane. They are losing out in terms of farm and experience. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have EGM and Ake in the jungle just getting some tiny bit of a goal experience. You have Loda just straight up farming up top. So I think the Alliance is getting a ton more out of the map. And it's really hard to make a dive on S4 in the mid lane. He is so tanky, almost at 1200 HP with a full magic wand charge. There is no way they're going to get a kill on S4 without committing 4 or 5 onto him.
Yeah, they have to blow a lot, and I think it's worth it to blow a lot if you can secure a kill. But if you go on S4, then that's where relocate comes. The Prophet ult now online for Bulldog. They have to dive those counter gankers, and even S4 is a counter ganker because all the towers are up aside from the tier 1 top. Navi, they need to find a gank fairly soon, in the next 3 to 5 minutes, I would say, for sure. They don't have the Dendi Blink yet. It's a key item for the ganks to work. But while they sit back, Loda's rushing a BKB, and if he gets one, you look at Navi, and you talked about physical damage and their lack of it, and that hasn't changed for me. Funnick just has a bottle, boots, a poor man shield. He doesn't have any damage items. Nobody really does. There's a little bit of damage coming from Havost, but if he gets a BKB on this gyro, Navi are going to have a very hard time killing Loda.
Yeah, Havost only gets that physical damage when he levels up and max both his smaller spells, the Wave of Terror as well as Vengeful Aura, but she's nowhere near the levels that she needs to be.
Meanwhile, Bulldog just chilling bottom lane. Funnick, though, he's going to start here with the Janata now, applying the right clicks, but there's a Sprout on Funnick. He might be in trouble. S4's rotated in. No detection yet. Here's your relocate. They really want this pesky bounty hunter, and they'll find him. The Alliance, they got poked, and they bit back hard.
Getting a free kill basically on the bot lane and not losing any kind of momentum anywhere else. There's no push in the mid lane.
And
perhaps we're going to see
right
a
into mid. Here we go.
Okay,
they're looking for 2.
Oh,
Hook to fly. They've caught Puppey as well. Callout's coming in. Dendi's down. 6-1. Alliance already out of control. Barreling down the middle lane. This is looking bad for Navi.
We said in the early game drafting stage that if Alliance wins, just come out even. In the early game phase, they will just be unstoppable during the mid game. Not only have they came out even, they've done so much more. They're winning by the kills, they're winning by experience, they're winning by gold. Alliance is about to take a tier 1 tower. And how do you stop this? Going to go on the S4 on the mid lane. Tower is already dead and looks with a tether stun. Oh, Swap coming back in here. Can they get a kill on S4? They're blowing everything onto him, and they are going to get the kill. That was very important, a 4-man track kill. Funnick doing his work, and, well, Navi finds something.
Yeah, the one guy that really would have liked that extra 50 gold is Dendi, of course. He's getting closer to his Blink Dagger. He will have it soon. Navi definitely have a few more runs of aggression in them, and every time that a gank works, every time they get a couple of heroes with a track kill, they extend their lease on life in this game. They're not out of it yet, but they're the ones who have to force the fights, and if you're Alliance, you can take fights, but you don't have to. If you're Alliance, you want to be careful, though. Track Gold has a way of sneaking up on you. All of a sudden, Funnick shows up with drums, with phase boots. The next few fights later, he's got a BKB. Dendi's got a 4-staff. Then Boots of Travel. It creeps up on you, and then all of a sudden, you're like, man, where did all those items come from? I thought we were winning this game. So for now, Alliance ahead, but they will want to play it safe. And one of the big items that will allow them to play it safe is going to be this BKB on Gyro. It's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, because of that, I feel like Navi basically have about 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds to make something happen on the map, because once BKB is up on Gyrocopter, and now because of there's a mech up on Emerald Bulldog as well, there is just nearly none of that on Navi to do anything. How do you kill Loda? And meanwhile, of course, when you're not killing him, he's killing everybody else with the call down on max flat cannons.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, a lot of these heroes really don't do much against that BKB. You look at Visage, he has Familiar Shore, he's got a mech to help keep his own team alive, but most of his damage is the soul assumption in the early to mid game, and he's not going to be hitting that hard. Puppey, virtually useless against BKB heroes unless he gets off a Gale and advance.
Oh, they see.
Yeah, they go though. Habost, easy pickings for S4. Brought down by a hook, jams it in, and now it's 7-2. Habost, he's their one position player this game. I mean, you look at some of these other heroes, maybe they can carry the load, but he's really the only physical damage dealer, and that death not going to help too much.
Habost going for SMY, and I don't know, give you a little bit of something in all categories.
It could be an Ag Scepter. That's the other possibility.
Sure.
But SMY...
Actually, it does look like an Ag Scepter.
Yeah, if it's an Ags, I mean, the nice thing with an Ags Venge is that you have Nether Swap constantly available for fights. The cooldown is only 10. But that doesn't necessarily help you if the Alliance just have the superior 5-man.
Yeah, of course. What does Ag Scepter do for you when
against Loda, for example?
Right, when you swap in and then you die, because there's so much focus fire on Alliance's part, but they will try to make something happen. That swap was what gave them the kill on S4 on the mid lane, but if you look at the Alliance, when they could Rosh, they will Rosh, and there's just no way that Navi could stop this.
The Rosh is dropping fast, but Dendi wants to contest. He's coming in with Firefly. Are we going to see an Aegis steal? Rosh is low, not dead yet. They're backing off. They're going in. He can't make up his mind, and now it's too late. Firefly's over. S4 back into the pit, covering his team. Rosh to fall. It goes to the Alliance. The Aegis on the Loda, and now a hook on a Habost. He's overstayed his welcome here. Swapping in Kuroki. Kuroki says, "Get me out of here, man!" And he can't. He'll fall. It's a headlong retreat now. Bulldog teleporting forward, creating another base of attack. Now a call down to fly. They've lassoed Bulldog. He's still alive though. He's not even dying. 3 dead. No track kills for Navi, and they're not going to get any. Make it 4. Navi down 2-11, and they're going to GG.
Oh my God.
GG.
16-minute GG, and they're going to get that final last kill. Alliance just dominating Navi, 3-time finalists, but it does not matter at all.
The Alliance not even slightly phased. Navi went for a very unorthodox strat. Very little access to late game. Heavy pressure on the laning stage, and the Alliance weathered the storm, took the advantage early, and they never looked back.
Alliance have never looked this strong, winning a game from one of the biggest and strongest Western team out there. What can Navi do for game 2? What can they pull out?
That was, I don't know if I call it a pocket strat, but a very unusual draft from them. So obviously, Navi, we don't expect them to do something similar again. It's not like they brought their bread and butter and then Alliance just destroyed it. They brought something unusual. It didn't work. Now we're going to have to see what they do, though, because when they got Wisp, they couldn't win with it. When they give it away, they lose to it. Granted, with an unusual draft, Wisp is going to be an interesting problem for them in these drafts because they really shouldn't be giving away to Alliance. At least it feels that way now. And if they're not, then they're forced to waste a ban on it. And you open up Bulldog's hero pool, you open up EGM's hero pool, Ake's, everybody on this team, they're in a bind.
Navi is losing with the standard game. Has whiffs, can't win. Navi is losing on non-standard games. Picking offensive trialing Venge, not working out. I'm not sure what they could do, but hopefully Puppey's got something in mind because this series could be quite over quite quickly.
And, I mean, we're going to have to see. Game 2's coming up. Alliance leading 1-0 in a best of 5. There's $2 million in change at stake. My goodness. They can taste it, man. They have come so far. And I mean, you look at this team, they had an undefeated run at the G1 League Land Finals. They traveled to China, they came, they saw, and they conquered. And here they are, again, not on their home turf, they're in Seattle, they're from Sweden, and all they're doing is winning games.
They are winning games and winning it very, very convincingly.
Absolutely. And it looks like, I guess we're going to be getting into Game 2 pretty soon. So you look at the draft for this game, and it was very unconventional from Navi, I think, to say the least.
I'm waiting for a voice in my head to tell me.
Alliance versus 2011 International Champions, Navi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Grand Finals, game number 2 between Navi and Alliance. Last time in game 1, we have Alliance just smacking them around. It was an easy 16-minute victory.
Absolutely. They gave away the Wisp, They ran a super risky strat. I mean, like one of the people in the audience said, it was very ambitious. They had to win the lanes. They had to find early kills. They had to push towers fast. They didn't do any of that. They got crushed. But in game 2, Navi have done what Melk said Puppey wanted to do coming into the draft. They banned out the Naga. They banned out the Chen. And with the first pick of this game, Alliance ignored the Wisp, and they went for Visage. So they are basically saying, we can win with Wisp, we can win without it, we can give it away a second pick, it doesn't matter. Come at us, Navi, come at us, that's what they're saying. And Navi, well, in response, they'll pick up an EO, they'll pick up a Batrider. I mean, you never see teams get these two heroes in the same draft. It just doesn't happen, Lumi. They've gotten both. Alliance now get a Bulldog Nature's Prophet. Is Alliance just this good? Can they really beat anything?
That's scary. That's scary because Navi says, all right, we'll trade. We'll get the Batrider, you'll get the Wisp, or one way or the other. But now they get both. I don't think any teams in the past, outside of a joke fun game, have ever got both of these heroes at the same time.
I'm sure Bruno will feed us some stats, or maybe K-Pop toast this later on, but it's very unusual. I mean, very, very unusual. And in this tournament, I don't think it's happened a single time. Now the Alliance into the second stage will ban out a Puck. If you look at this game, I actually want to flash back a few months ago to a game that was played between Invictus Gaming and Zenith. And this was when IG was still, if not completely undefeated, they were just coming off of that 8-month stretch of not dropping any games, your former TI2 champions. They played a game against Zenith where they got every hero that they wanted. This was back when Magnus was a top pick, I believe. They got the Magnus. They got the Batrider. They got everything they wanted, and then Zenith punished them for their greed. It was basically like the fable of King Midas. They got everything, and it turned out to be too much for them to handle. Zenith ran away with that game. Is that what Alliance is trying to bait Navi into, perhaps?
Maybe, perhaps. I think this is a confidence shaker. I mean, saying if Alliance wins this game, where does Navi go? There's nowhere else to go because you're giving away their best heroes, and if this is not even a close game, if Alliance, let's say, beats them in 25 minutes, I think Navi's confidence is going to be shattered.
Nobody has been in this position in those booths on the big stage or over at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, more than this core of Navi. I mean, they've been here 3 times now. They took home 1 championship. They fell short last year, although they had the most impressive run in some ways with some big plays, some flashy moments. Now they're here again. So if anyone could withstand losing this game to and still bounce back, it's probably them, simply for their experience. But now we're really getting into it. The bans continue to come out. Alliance, they remove a Puck, a Gyro. Navi's quick reply.
Oh, no.
Navi's quick reply is going to be a Keeper of the Light and an Anti-Mid. So Navi goes out. It's a go-to for a Vost, although I think as Lifester's Weaver are generally the heroes they prefer. And Alliance now pick up Venomancer. Oh, no. So, I mean, they're sending a message, right? Like, they're saying, we're going to beat you with the heroes you can't beat us with. We're going to give you the best heroes in the game, or at least what people think. No matter what you do, you can't take us. That's got to be the message, right?
That's the message, and Venomancer on Dire also means a ton of things, including level 1 Roshan, because Venomancer wards Scout. Venomancer Gale is really, really good at backstab. This is a combo. This is what they picked against during the group stage, where they just baited with Treants and then got a 4-man Gales and just went with the early game two-hit KO kind of stuff. Navi just doesn't have any level 1. Batrider, he's going to napalm at level 1. That does nothing. Wisp is going to tether at level 1. That does nothing. And against, so far, Alchemist Stun is something okay in the level 1 strategy, but if Alliance storms down to the Roshan pit and decides to do some crazy level 1 Roshan strat, Navi so far has nothing to stop it.
Yeah, now if you go back to the G1 LAN finals, the first time that Alliance showed kind of their next level Roshan strat, it was not just a level 1 Rosh strat, it was a 5-man TP into a level 1 Rosh. They all TP'd to the tier 1 mid, and then they went straight into the pit, and their opponents in DK actually couldn't even get to the pit in time to stop it. And actually, if you look at it, I mean, they won't, if they're really worried about it, depending on how the rest of this draft unfolds, Navi may be forced to make a choice. Do we just hope they don't do Rosh? Do we run there the normal way and just hope they decide not to, or that they can't do it in time? Do we take a risk, a gamble, and spend our gold on TP scrolls to contest? Or do we just sack it and say, they're going to do it, it's better for us not to lose a fight at Rosh and give away an Aegis? There's going to be a lot of possibilities here for Navi, but it's a very uncomfortable choice to make.
But that's a problem. Listen to yourself. You have the 2 best hero in the entire game, and you are uncomfortable with the draft. What message does that send from Alliance? They have a Venomancer, which is not even a 3rd tier support, and they're just sending fear down in Navi's heart. another hero that does not do anything against a level 1 Roshan. I don't know about Navi because I'm shaking right now. I'm so scared for them.
I mean, as much as a level 1 Rosh would suck, I'm just looking at Navi's draft right now, and I feel like they could actually give away level 1 Rosh and still win this game. I mean, they have Batrider, Alchemist, Wisp, and Bounty Hunter track goal. This team has so many ways to catch up, whether it's the relocate ganks, just stacking and farming for Havos, Shadowblade ganks for him, Blink Dagger ganks for Denny. I actually think this Navi lineup, as the draft stands now, can give away level 1 Rosh and win the game. That could change with these next 2 picks, though.
All right, LD, if you can find anybody else in this room that agrees with your Navi hopes, they better be coming out right now. Spectre coming out from Alliance.
Okay, now giving away level 1 Rosh is a lot scarier, although Spectre is not particularly good at doing it.
What is going on with this draft? Have Loda played Spectre in this tournament at all?
I think he's played it a handful of times in the past, but we've really seen them go to the Coddle PL if they want to go for a really late game oriented strat. The anti-mage was banned out. If there's no Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lancer is pretty underwhelming. I mean, Keeper of the Light is the real heavy lifter in that pairing. PL just farms and wins the game eventually. So where do they go from here? When we've seen Spectre, he often is with Visage, and now I think the Venomancer pick seems maybe a little bit less of a psychological one, although that's a nice bonus. It's a very strong laning support, and you want a really strong pair of supports in the laning stage to make up for how weak Spectre is. So maybe it's not a level 1 Rosh, maybe they're not trying to send a huge message, just securing their safe lane, securing Lotus Farm, and angling for the late game.
Yeah, we still have not figured out exactly what this Venomancer will do. Is he a defensive support? Is he an early game Ancient Stacker? We'll see what Alliance pulls out of their hats or sleeves or whatever they're hiding their tricks from.
I mean, we have seen solo mid Venomancer at very rarely, but in the past, he
is that S4 hero though?
Yeah, I mean, if you even go back to Fnatic, they used to run Fly as a solo Venomancer at times. He built an early Vanguard. This was even in Heroes of Newerth, but I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Their options are still pretty open, but it looks like a support, looks like a defensive tri-lane, off-lane Bulldog Prophet, or into the jungle, and then S4's here still to be picked up. That is how it looks.
Well, Alliance, one ban to go here. Let's see what they are thinking that Navi will pick up. Of course, they haven't really picked up their solo mid hero just yet. You talked about the Venomancer solo mid, but that's like
a stretch.
That's like really out
there. That's just a remote possibility.
I mean, if Alliance S4 picks Pudge, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna just walk out because, like, I don't know.
That's the ultimate message, right?
Like, that is like, yeah, we're going to beat you with everything and anything.
I've never seen S4 play Pudge. So they'll respect the CK Wiz combo here. They're going to ban out a CK. It looks to me like a mid lane Batrider for Dendi, and then probably a Havost Alchemist. That would put Funnick onto the Bounty Hunter, but it looks like they're worried about something different here. Banning out the CK, maybe thinking it's even a Dendi Alch and something weird going on. So now, time to basically reveal your cards, right? You have to put everything on the table here. Navi looking like they need support. It's probably something pretty safe and stable for them. Shadow Demon's really nice against Spectre if they want to go for a very safe one. Out could be a support, by the way. Puppey has played him as one. And it's going to be an Enigma now. So great team fight, great push. I mean, Navi's draft is very greedy, but if they get to late game, they are hard to stop.
Yeah, this is Navi's probably their 5 best hero, right? Like, you never really see these Dream Scenario lineup here. They got pretty much everything they want. They have great lanes, they have great jungle, they have a ton of early game gold, a ton of early game experience, but
you know, I'm even wondering if Alliance might go aggressive tri-lane here. Spectre's not that strong in the tri-lanes, but
10 seconds.
Navi is an Enigma, right? Either the Enigma or the Batrider is going to be in the jungle. One of them will probably be soloing. So it's going to be a dual lane bottom, most likely. EO +1, most likely the Alch. So if you have a Visage, Veno, tri-lane, you can throw any carry here and there, and they can find kills.
Yeah, Spectre is not too bad early game, especially the way that the Western teams are building it. Things like taking Desolates quite early, dealing a ton of pair damage. So let's keep in mind that, like you said, Wisp is not exactly your early game all-star. She's very, very squishy, has no base armor. Alchemist not too strong in that department either, so definitely that is a possibility.
It's a remote one again. I mean, Alliance doesn't show aggressive tri-lanes, right? They always go defensive, they're just more efficient than you, and then they beat you. They're a cold-blooded machine. That's the story of Alliance this tournament. Now, well, it's going to be a Beastmaster from them.
Beastmaster has level 1 aura. We could still see a level 1 TP.
It's a threat. The threat is in. Will Navi be scared? Will we see any TPs from them? EO can scout the pit with their orb, so if they want to...
No, they don't give vision anymore.
When they hit a hero.
Yes, that's the thing.
So you can expand the orbs. They can at least get some idea if not Alliance is doing it, but it's not necessarily going to be enough to stop it.
Again, how do you stop it? Wisp has Tether at 1. Dendi has Napalm at 1. Funnick has nothing at 1. Puppey has Malefice, Conversion at 1. Like, there's just no level 1 good spells, but the fact that they're taking quite a long time to pick their heroes and perhaps still strategizing.
you got to figure their game planning for whatever might happen as soon as the creeps spawn. The player's about to hit the world of Dota. They're about to land, and we're about to begin. Navi trailing 0-1 in a best of 5. Lumi, this is tense. We're waiting with bated breath.
I mean, both teams is just like purposely not picking the last hero, so they get like extra.
Well, like you said, it's strategic. Yeah. And here we go. Game 2 of the International 3 Grand Finals. Alliance versus Navi. Alliance leading 1-0 and already heading down to the bottom lane. We'll introduce them quickly. S4, your Beastmaster. Ake, your Venomancer. EGM on the Visage. Loda on the Spectre. Admiral Bulldog on that Nature's Prophet. Nothing spent for him yet as far as gold goes. And on the Radiant side, we have Team Navi. Dendi on the Batrider, rushing the bottle. Havos will be your Alk. Bringing up the rear, Kuroki, your support EO. Puppey, the Enigma, and then Funnick onto his Bounty Hunter. This game starting with the boots.
Yeah, we've seen this in the past. Alliance not going for the level 1 Roshan, but using it as a bait. So they're hiding here to the right side of the tree line. They want to scout things out with trees. They're trying to bait Navi to go inside the Roshan pit. Funnick does have skeletal walk, so he's checking at S4. Not exactly the best person to lead a gank because he does not have any disables.
Meanwhile, the pole camp has been warded off. You'll see a Sentry Ward deployed here. And one of the best ways to punish this kind of Navi draft, oh, we'll see another ward. So is to basically slow them down, because Navi need a lot of things, right? They need a Wisp level 6, they need a Dendi Blink Dagger. Your Alchemist, you want Havos to get his Shadow Blade or his Battle Fury, probably a Shadow Blade knowing Havos, up as quickly as possible. Enigma, you'll want to farm towards the mech, he'll want to get his levels in the jungle. So early on, they'll use maybe the threat of that Rosh or just the threat of an early engagement to head into the enemy jungle. They do place 2 wards here, an Observer and a Sentry, and this is really clever from Alliance, because now Navi are going to have a very hard time de-warding this camp at level 1, especially since it's such a greedy draft. At most, they're going to have 1 set of Sentry wards, and is there a single Sentry that can de-ward both of these? I don't think so.
No, there isn't. You got to spend both. You got to guess perfectly. And so far, no rotation has been made to make that de-ward just yet.
For the time being, S4 sitting mid. Ake rotating back to the top lane. That puts Funnick into your off-lane Bounty Hunter, manually blocking the camp with his body. And he'll try and do some economic damage of his own. Loda's going to get free farm early on. The mid lane will be a Dendi Bat versus an S4 Beastmaster. Again, Dendi with what should be an advantage matchup for him. Now, Funnick, continuous jungle harassment. We saw that he looked to do this in the past. We actually saw that Bulldog did this to Navi, where Funnick was farming the level 1 Ancients, and he just used Bounty Hunter to constantly harass, slow down their jungle game, deny their economy, so that your other teammates can get ahead.
Yeah, at best though, Funnick has 1 skeletal walk left here. I think he's trying to pick off a courier, maybe he's trying to bait this creep wave going towards his direction. That's exactly what he's doing, but he's got to run through a Venomancer that has a Sentry Ward and a Venomancer Gale. If he gets Galed, he is dead. He's running, I think, maybe journeying across the world.
Yeah, I do want to point out the pole camp is still warded off, and again, it's because they put down an Observer and a Sentry. Very hard for Navi to fully de-ward that. Puppey can still jungle. Kuroki can hang around him, but that does slow down your Enigma jungle game a bit. So Navi's not completely screwed by this, but they are slowed down. Right now...
Oh, mid lane here, looks like we have a tethering against S4. He's dropping low, couple more hits gonna do it. Magic Stick up, and he's gonna... No! He does not survive!
Navi! They're not done yet! Kuroki's gonna fall! 1 for 1, Bulldog standing strong. But Navi, they needed a good start after that last game. Now a Gale.
Gale's gonna hit, and they're gonna right kick some, but nobody's gonna come in.
He should be fine.
Wow,
this
Axis
is too far to die.
Has a long
No, maybe not.
Oh, it's gonna hit.
Not enough. Not nearly enough.
Definitely scared.
So great start for Navi, you gotta say.
I really like the fact that they made a rotation to the mid lane. Look at Funnick though. He has pulled all the way from top lane to his own jungle, and he's farming 2 camps at once. This is some next level stuff.
Yeah. Have we ever seen this?
I've never seen anything like this. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing too crazy in terms of kills, but innovation, we're seeing it here from Funnick. He has shown some really magnificent movement.
He's farming his entire jungle with the enemy creeps.
But mid lane, it's S4 on the run. Dendi looking to turn 2, and he will. Another kill for Navi. Alliance, they had an unbeatable start in game 1. They lead 1-0 in the best of 5. But Navi, they were given a lot of very strong, very fearsome heroes that are usually banned, and already they're making it work.
It's not the fact that they have really strong heroes. Obviously, Wisp and Batrider are powerful, heroes at their own right, but it's the fact they're rotating. It's the fact that they're creative, and of course, Bounty Hunter is just he's winning me over. I cannot help but fall in love with his play.
Yeah, Funnick just farmed his own jungle with the enemy neutrals. That is probably a first in competitive Dota, at least for me. Haven't seen that too often. Now, he's level 2. He's heading into the mid lane. S4 has a Sentry Ward prepared.
What?
It is going to run out soon. S4 sees him. Not much he can do. Now, Navi do know there's a Sentry there. Of course, they are getting free farm on Spectre. That's always going to be scary to deal with, but it's being matched by Havos's farm as well. And he's going for the greedy build. He's rushing a Midas. It's actually pretty much what we see from Loda all the time. You got to say right now, Navi on all counts are definitely winning.
Yeah, and because Dendi's got the first blood in the mid lane, and because he's got the second blood there as well, he's going to get his Blink Dagger very, very early. Whereas last game we saw Navi Dendi didn't even get the Blink Dagger until that fight before the GG, so Dendi's going to have a huge impact this game.
And once he hits 6, he can even go for a solo kill in S4. That's where you need to have a TP on your Venomancer. You do have a Nature's Prophet, but he's not that good at counter-ganking Batrider because of Firefly. So S4, he'll have to play this one very cautiously. The Napalm stacks come through. He's also got to be worried about those Wisp rotations. For now, the Wisp is just sitting mid, waiting for a long-range tether. As soon as Dendi hits 6, he could go. Ooh. Not yet. Clearing the wave. The 4-minute rune is going to be picked up bottom lane. It's going to be on to Puppey. Now top lane. They've dusted up Funnick. Alliance strikes back. They'll take down Funnick. Make it 2-2. Give Loda some gold, but give a lot more gold to the out because Havos just picked up his Midas. And that's a 4.5-minute Midas on an Alchemist, maxing Greeble's Greed. Can you say Hala Hala get Dala?
I mean,
he's going to be rich.
We've seen Loda just completely go for this build, and he is just unmatched. He has so much gold throughout the game. He has, it seems like limitless buybacks, limitless items, and we'll see exactly what Havos is going to do. Keep in mind the playstyle of these two carry players are different. Havos very likely to join fights much, much early on.
Yeah, now we have seen in the past, I mean, not as of late, but if you go back to the International 2, Havos is able to adapt his playstyle. At the International 2, there were quite a few games where they picked him a Faceless Void, an Anti-Mage, and he didn't really fight early. He farmed and he won in more of a traditional 4-Protect-1, a late game oriented strat. So if they want to go late with track gold, with the lineup they have, they most certainly can. We expect Funnick to join fights, and once he gets a Shadow Blade, he'll probably go for pickoffs, but they don't have to fight that much early on.
Speaking of Funnick, trying his best to put on some grubby impression. There you go, Windwalk kills.
Oh man, stealing the neutrals. Now a Haunt's coming in. There's some sort of engagement about to break out. It's going to be Ake. Oh, pulled in. Now in trouble. Dendi pulling him far away. Not dead just yet. And Loda just farming top. They've lost the bat. They could lose a Venom soon, or Beastmaster soon. S4 on the run. Dendi leading 3-2. He's really diving for this. He will back off. Navi, it's 3-2.
Tanner coming in the back line here. Wisp Boss in your face, S4, and Funnick picks up yet another kill. I have to remind you, Funnick started on the top lane and had no help. He's level 4, 6 minutes in. This is some impressive long lane play.
They're really digging deep. I mean, they are just pulling everything out. Wisp ganking at level 1, Wisp ganking at level 2, at 3, and now hits 5. Funnick pulling the enemy neutrals to farm his own jungle. They are pulling every possible trick out of the hat, and as a result, they lead already by 2,500 gold, 2,000 experience. Havos free farming. He's going to have his phase boots now, or he could rush the Shadow Blade soon. He's going to have one by the 10-minute mark at the latest. Alliance in huge trouble.
Oh, Funnick, he's looking for a stun. Keep in mind that if he gets a hit in,
there's a sentry here. He's been revealed. Loda joins the fray. Now looking for a fight. Do they have any dust? No dust yet. No, there is some on EGM, but looks like Funnick is going to dodge a bullet and hunt a courier.
No, he's not going to. He's not going to get the
You
kill.
can't get that this early. You really need the phase boots, the leveled up Janata to make it happen.
But the fact that he just rotated it and drew 5 people's attention for a good 15 seconds, that means people are free farming elsewhere. If you look at the top lane here, we have Batrider working towards his Blink Dagger. Havos has never actually seen a hero this game so far because all he does is PvE on the bot lane. He's got his Power Treads, Midas, and Quelling Blade running, and 600 gold. I mean,
it's even possible he could go Battle Fury this game. When you're ahead like this and Alliance are reluctant to take fights when they're playing catch-up, I mean, if you do go Battle Fury Midas and they don't contest you immediately and constantly, you are going to be so far ahead. You could be 10k gold ahead of that Spectre at 20, 25, 30 minutes, and you could just go win the game on one big push. So Shadow Blade is what we expect because of aggression, but with Treads are the better jungling item, so we'll have to see.
Well, he's going back in the jungle. Definitely want to pick up a big creep. Hit himself to level 9 there. Oh, not exactly, not big enough.
Yeah, still playing defensively for now. He could also buy a Claymore and leave his options open. So Havos, a lot of options for him now. Funnick, his job is to secure level 6, and Dendy the Blink Dagger, which, by the way, he's got. It's an 8-minute blink for Dendy, and as soon as they get track and relocate, which they're about to have relocate, it really is go time. Look at Alliance. Last game, it was Navi who had the supports that were food. This game, it's Alliance who do. Ake has no boots. He is level 3 with 560 health. You look at this Visage for EGM, no boots. I think they're coming out now. Yeah, he's got his boots, but still, anyone is food as far as these supports go to a relocate gang.
Yeah, I wonder where that first gank is going to come from. Of course, the element of surprise is really, really important. So Dendy, with this fresh, shiny new Blink Dagger, is it going to be mid? Is it going to be S4? He smokes himself as well so that people don't really will see him TP in. And is it going to be top, mid, bot? I mean, anywhere he goes fine because he knows that he has relocate. It's going to be mid, but he TP's right under a creep.
Yeah, he's been spotted out here, but he is smoked up. Let's see if they stay far enough back. He's going for S4. Blink, Lasso, he's found him anyway. They need this tether stone, and they're going to get it. S4 down to the low ground, gets off the roar, will fall, however. Loda, though, on the fight, bottling up his Dendy. Can't touch this, he says. Not dead yet, and he is going to live.
He's thinking of jumping back in. Emerald Bulldog down to about half HP. Here comes EGM on his Visage. Puppy's in there as well.
There's a black hole here. He's level 7.
Yes, he is.
Alliance in huge trouble.
Ooh.
They have almost nothing to cancel it. Dendy's alive. Loda desperate for the kill, but cannot find it. And Lumi, this is normally what we see out of Alliance. Loda just farming, but this game, it's Havos just farming. Navi are winning this game 4v5, and there is a huge ticking time bomb on their side. Havos, 1,200 gold, whatever he wants. Shadow Blade, if he wants it, just about ready to go. And the tier 1 mid now falls. The safe zone for Alliance, it now gets even smaller.
And there's going to be a Shadow Blade up, like you said, and now...
They have track. I mean, if Havos starts finding kills, he is not going to stop.
And now you can see Puppy setting up very offensive wards deep into the enemy jungle. When you have the Hero Wisp, you want to have perfect vision on the enemy camps. You want to make sure that if you... Well, you see the Prophet TP in? Oh yeah, that's a freebie. Do we have a relocate?
Wait for the relocate. Kuroki trying to find a partner in crime here. Puppy's still lurking on the low ground. If they knew he was here, they would have already come for him, so he knows they don't. In comes Funnick. They've got track. It could be a 4-hero track kill. Funnick, he's got the set. Bulldog's been greedy, and his greed will be punished. No relocate yet. Are they not going to use it?
They don't need it.
Don't even need it. Now a smoke. They're spreading to the winds. They've gone in mid as well. Last one, S4. This is getting totally out of control. Hastrun or not, S4 will fall. Navi are rolling through the Alliance. Another track kill. EGM on the run. He's going to fall 8-2. It's a good old-fashioned beatdown.
Oh, Navi setting up shop in front of the tier 2 tower. They are just rolling so hard. The goal advantage, massive. The experience advantage, massive. Can they get this tier 2 tower? S4 generally one of the best solo mid Europe. He is 0-5-0. He is not doing a single thing in this game so far.
And now, already Havos is in combat shape. He's got the treads, he's got Midas as well as Shadow Blade. He can farm and he can fight. Kuroki gives him that option. I mean, they are so far ahead. It can't be stressed enough. Alliance do have some access to late game. They have a Prophet, they have a Spectre, but they really need to find pickoffs and slow Navi down. It looks like that's what they want. They're smoked up, but they're heading the wrong way. Narrowly, Navi is going to dodge a bit of a bullet here. They still have relocate, by the way. They still have Black Hole. We haven't even seen them use their full arsenal.
I think they head to the right way, because if they engage now, they lose. There's no way.
We'll have to see. They've got a roar, but you can't really go on Kuroki. Now the gank revealed. Meanwhile, Alliance, 4 heroes, grouped up near mid. Puppy and Kuroki heading towards the top lane. Tethered up. Havos is there as well. The mech is almost out for Puppy. Their ability to fight is going to get a whole lot scarier. They can split push. They can gank. It's really pressure on the Alliance. Are they going to smoke again? What are they doing? They're all sitting in the jungle. 3 heroes.
They're waiting for Dendy.
We've never seen this tournament from the Alliance. I don't think, even that game they lost to DK, they look befuddled. They look flummoxed right now. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, normally they're off to a beautiful start in terms of experience or goal. They are never really playing from behind. And during the mid-game where they falter a little bit, their team play just brings them back. But to me, Alliance, really their success always come through S4. But if you look at S4, because he has such a poor start, and the fact that his hero is not really that strong without a key 1 or 2 items, S4 is going to have a tough time changing this game around by himself.
Yeah, as much as Alliance do have fantastic late game, Navi can match that to a large extent. Track goal, here we go.
Here we go.
Relocate. Hello, Mr. S4. Say hello to slap chop. Havost is here. S4, roar. Is he gonna live? He's still alive. Unbelievable. Still he stands. He's not dead yet. EGM might fall one more swipe. He gets the kill. Meanwhile, on the middle lane, they're diving Bulldog. That's a track kill. That's for 3.
Funnick's going to get picked up by Loda here. And Alliance,
he's looking for the turnaround, but Puppy's got Black Hole. He's got Malefice. Is he going to unload? Not yet. Oh, I think they could have gone there, but maybe a little bit too far to risk it.
Definitely a little bit too far. You don't know where the Venomancer is. Loda very tanky with 7 wand charges as well as the drums available. So good thing that they did not dive. But again, Black Hole is not being used yet. This is the next level Puppy strat. They always don't have Black Hole, so they could never come next to me, so I don't use it.
The only thing better than using Black Hole is
not using
Black Hole. Now it drums up for Funnick. Navi going for a lot of early to mid-game items, the mechs, the treads. We see even the Shadow Blade coming out. They know that once they get a certain level of farm, they can just keep on fighting. And now they've got a huge item for Dendy. There's your 4-step. If they isolate Loda, they can certainly kill him off, and Dendy's on the prowl.
He's always going to be on the prowl this game, looking for anything. His mana is dropping somewhat low. He will see a Illusion Rune and snipe
bottles
that
it
one.
up. So if you're Alliance now, you are very far behind. I mean, very far behind.
Very far behind.
You're down 14,000 gold, 10,000 experience to a Wisp, to a Bounty Hunter, to an Alk who went Midas, who maxed Greevil's Greed.
I mean,
what's your plan?
Just on a perspective, Navi is out farming Alliance. Every minute, they're getting a tower worth of gold over Alliance.
Yeah, they are. Their advantage increases by 1,000 gold per minute this game.
What will Alliance do? Well, stacking is generally their way of coming back, but it's very dangerous to stack against Navi, who could just roll into your jungle, kill 2 or 3, and then take your stack.
And their lineup is very mediocre for farming stacks. You look at these heroes, they don't have AoE, there's no Magnus in power. Beastmaster's okay, but that's really where it ends. I mean, they don't have a Gyrocopter, they don't have a Phantom Lancer with Empower. They have some late game, sure, but they got to farm the items to get there. And with the pressure that Navi's putting on them, you can see they're sort of they're locked into this. Look at that GPM, 15 minutes in. Havost, like you said, PvE Dota, he's yet to really join a fight. 1-0 and 2, and yet he is so fat.
Here comes Alliance. I mean, this smoke, whoa,
they've got to relocate here if they really need to.
No,
they're still running. The tier 1's up. If they fight this is going to be bad. Here comes the turnaround. Stun on to EGM. Where's the follow-up? Nothing yet. There's a few heroes here. Familiar's coming out, and Alliance is going to back off. But that's a lot of wasted time. Meanwhile, middle lane, here comes the relocate. You gank us, we dodge it and gank you twice as hard. Bulldog will fall. And Navi in full control of game 2.
S4 drops a Beastmaster Roar, but he has no backup here. Tender movement speed forward here. Couple more rights, it's going to do it. Havost finds himself a double kill. A Soul Care is finished in 16 minutes. What is this farm?
He is richer than God. He's hardly had to fight, but now if he wants to, he most certainly can. Dendy forcing forward, really wanting to dive a 2-hero Gale, but I don't think it's enough. In comes the stun. EGM, 1 stun, 3 swipes, and he's down.
My God, Navi is rolling so hard. And when you have a carry like Havost, they're so fortunate to have Havost, who never really forces to trouble, who dives, but make sure to get kills. The fortitude of this carry player. I mean, why does he have a 4 there either? Like, I'm not sure what that's about.
I mean, I'm looking at a game now where game 1 was a complete stomp in favor of the Alliance. Game 2, a complete stomp in favor of Navi. If you looked at the way the Alliance was playing heading into this match, a lot of their games were going 40+ minutes. And if they were winning sooner, it was still with the late game strat, with Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lancer, Lone Druid, Nature's Prophet, a lot of late game heroes. Both games have been very quick. Game 2's not over, but man, it sure feels like it right now. Roshan, next in line, slapping and chopping. Havost, he'll have Roche. Then if he wants his BKB, he's nearly got it. The gold strat is really paying off, and here we go.
Relocate top, and they're gonna find Loda, the last hope. He's just getting melted by Havost. Oh, Havost, by the way, up to 3,200 gold. Didn't he just finish Soakers?
Yeah, BKB's coming soon, and if he wants it, and once he gets it, good luck to Alliance stopping what's coming their way. There's a freight train rolling down the tracks, and it's about to run into a car, and let me tell you, Lumi, the car gives way, not the freight train.
I mean, he doesn't even need BKB in this game. In fact, he's going for a heart. Yeah, BKB, sure, it's going to block a couple of stuns, blocks a couple of nukes, but at this point, he doesn't care. He has so much frontline tank, he's going to go for heart. It's a great sieging item. And when you're hit by this much, when you're hit by, what is it, 20,000 gold now? They have over eclipsed 1,000 gold per minute. Yeah. I've never actually seen this in a professional game.
I've seen close to it, but this is, I mean, it's like 1,100, 1,200 gold per minute. That's the rate they're gaining an advantage. That's not their lead, that's the rate they're gaining an advantage. It's not even how fast they're farming. Oh my goodness, the tier 2 falls top. There's one outer tower, Navi. And soon they're gonna kick down the front door. Alliance, their last stand in game 2, might be coming soon. Navi, full map control. Vlad's probably on the way for Funix soon. Everybody's rich. Puppy's now got a mech, he's got 2.5k gold. They can just A-click towards the enemy base. 5 man and just death ball. And if Alliance try to leave to catch up, if they try to farm, Loda, what we saw to Burning happen in that game 3 against Alliance, where he died at his tier 3, could easily happen to Loda Spectre this game.
Yeah, you can see that right now. Alliance is trying to set up a bait with Loda. In fact, when you ask me what they need to do about 5-10 minutes ago, Alliance, I think if they could get some bait going, maybe bait in a relocate and then just wipe them, that might be a beginning of a comeback. But right now, that's just a far cry. They're so far behind. Yet another tower goes down and more advantage goes to Navi.
Now is the time to break the base. KuroKy already has a vitality booster. Navi, BKB coming soon for Puppy. They're not going to wait. Havost in the front lines. To the lines he goes. He'll start hitting the tower. The pressure is here. They will have to respond. The Familiars try to stun. One falls in doing so, and they just don't stop. They'll back off. They'll reset. They'll reload. Denny with a Yule Scepter. Whenever Navi wants to pick a fight, they can, and if Alliance does not defend now, they will start losing their first lane of racks.
Oh, Bit jump in against S4. He gets pulled back out, and S4 is going to get focused so hard that he does not know what him. Meanwhile, Havost 1v4 deep in the base. He does not care. Immediate buyback. Yule Scepter back up. Can we get a Black Hole? Yeah, no, Black Hole. S4 drops his ward first. They want Bulldog. Bulldog chasing in. Yeah,
Alliance,
Bulldog.
they just can't stand against this level of damage. Puppy still hunting. Stun on Ake. They don't even need the Black Hole. It's a rout. It's a retreat to the fountain. They'll find S4. S4's dead in a matter of seconds. 4 to fall. They're farming Alliance in their own base. This is the most one-sided game that the Alliance has lost in this entire tournament. 20 minutes in, 20 kills. The gold lead 30,000, and it's GG! What was once a best of 5 is now resetting to a best of 3. It's all tied up. Navi has struck back with a vengeance.
They've struck back with a sledgehammer. I have never, ever seen in a professional game where we had such high goal lead. This is the grand finals of the International, but before we send it back to the analysts, we have to remind that it was S4 that gave away both Wisp and Bad, and I could tell you that's not going to happen again. Back to you guys.
They tried
outside. Yeah, it's crazy.
Back to you guys.
Navi bring back game 2 then, and it seems that both teams are flexing their muscles. Navi had it like pretty hard in the third game, and they were like, well, you know what? If you want to do that, we can do that too. And they did get, as Lumi mentioned, the Wisp and the Bat, and it was just a nightmare for S4, and I think that's a big problem. S4 needs to be in the team fights and needs to have the items at least for the mid game, but he just got shut down so hard.
That was the scariest performance we've seen all tournament. I'm so impressed by Navi, and they just made S4 look like this was his first time playing Dota. The Bat Rider and Wisp on the middle lane played by KuroKy and Dendi, they were stomping him into the ground and saying, this is our house. We've been in this final before and we're going to take it this time around.
So do you think it was overconfidence by Navi just giving them Bat, giving them Wisp, giving them Alchemist too, and with the third pick Venomancer? Was it just overconfidence, hey, we want to beat you with style because we think we're way better than you?
It certainly smells like that, definitely.
It's interesting because I was trying to find or understand what Alliance was going for here, and a year ago it would have been impossible to talk about whether another team ran the exact same lineup as someone in the international finals. Actually, Alliance, and I was talking to Melk about this, copied something that EG did before, this combination of, let me remind the full heroes, Nature's Prophet with Spectre for the global gank, and Visage and Venomancer as support. It's something that EG did before. They beat Alliance with it at the Defense Season 4. and they were doing successfully. The success rate of this lineup was 4-0. I think they were very convinced with that, but Navi took everything to the next level, and it didn't come to the picks, it came to the amazing plays from everyone. Then the Kuroki, the Wisp was always there. There was not a Wisp that was waiting until level 6 to be active. This Kuroki was rotating way before, and same with the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter was there jumping and getting kills way before he got the truck. And putting that early pressure on Alliance made it so that the rest of the team, especially Bulldog and Loda, became non-factors really, really fast.
Yeah, just the Wisp combo was incredible for every single gank that Dendi wanted to set up on the Batrider. But we'll talk about that in a little moment after the replays. You can see actually S4 does get away. That was a nice little Shadow Blade last hit there from Havost, who's kind of, I mean, he just wasn't scared of anything in the base. There was nothing
well, look
they
at
could
his
do.
items. Yeah. Assault Cuirass harder to rest. We're 10 minutes into the game. Come on.
I wanted him to buy a Rod of Athos when he had for his next item, because he just sat around like 3k gold, but he finished up a heart. I just want to be funny, just not let them run away whatsoever. But a big victory there. So yeah, we'll talk more about the game in just a moment, but I believe that Casey is ready for an interview with some of the fans, so we'd quite like to see what the fans.
Alliance versus 2011 international champions, Navi.
And we're back for Game 3 of the International 2013 Grand Finals between Navi and the Alliance. We're all tied up. What was once a best of 5 is now a best of 3. It all comes down to this. Your winner takes home $1.4 million and counting. The loser, only $600,000. And I say only, but that's still a lot of money.
And for the first time in this best of 5 series, we're going to see Lone Druid being piloted by Admiral Bulldog, often known as one of his, if not the best hero for him. He has kind of played thousands and thousands of this game in this pub.
This is the hero that he's made a name for himself on. And you know, it's a really cool storyline because actually Admiral Bulldog was discovered by Navi and specifically by Dendi. His first competitive experience filling in as a stand-in for Navi. Now the apprentice tries to become the master.
I mean, I think Navi's kicking themselves like, why did we play with this guy? Why is this guy now on the other side of the booth and threatening to do a lot? But going back to what we heard from the analysts, it wasn't the Batrider that Navi had big successes with. No disrespect to Dendi at all, but Kuroki with his ganks, with his relocates, the fact that he was just putting on so much pressure against Alliance. So let's see if with Wisp, whether they could do the same thing.
Yeah, I think obviously you probably don't want to give away all those heroes in general, but it was more the way they played the heroes, not the heroes themselves. A lot of early pressure. Alliance didn't expect it, caught off guard, and once Navi had a good start, game was over because Alliance just had very little in the way of comeback mechanics. So going into Game 2, we'll see the S4 Batrider, the Lone Druid for Admiral Bulldog. It's still a draft that Alliance would normally love to get. They have given away a Wisp, an EO. They have given away an Alchemist to Havost, but I mean, their lineup a lot more stable and solid in the laning stage already.
Yeah, they gotta get some answer to that Batrider. Normally there aren't many, and that's really the issue. S4's Batrider have a 76% win rate, and obviously Alliance wins quite a bit, so I'm not sure how much that statistic means, but his play on Batrider is just absolutely marvelous. He puts so much pressure on your carry, he puts so much pressure on your support. It's hard to stop a hero like Batrider, especially if S4 is piloting it.
Yeah, now one of the better heroes against Batrider in the mid lane is Puck. Are we going to see a Dendi Puck this game?
We could be. I mean, Puck is definitely one of his best heroes. We've seen him pilot it all the way back in TI1 and definitely well before that as well. He knows that hero quite well. And of course, it's, oh, never mind.
I like these bans from Alliance. No more Funnick Bounty Hunter. No more Dendi Puck. You're going to have to pull something new. And now both junglers have been removed, and Navi are going to snap up this.
Yeah, some are surprised that they have not gone for the Obsidian Devourer. It's the
Outworld Devourer.
Yeah, Outworld Devourer.
One man of many names.
Man of many names indeed. OD does match up against Batrider quite well. His orbs and his magical damage does quite well against Lone Druid, so I was fairly certain that we're going to see that particular hero, but so far, nothing just yet.
Yeah, it's still available, and Alliance already having Bat. I mean, when you play Alliance, Bulldog has played Batrider, but they already have Lone Druid. So he's going to play Lone Druid. It means that you don't have to pick up the OD now. You can wait on it. You can get it with the 4th pick here. There's no more bans coming for Navi for Alliance before that, and they're not going to go for it because they already have their mid, they already have their offlaner. So I like this from Navi. If they want it, they can get it later.
I'm still expecting a Space Cow. I'm still expecting a Spirit Breaker. I called it once. It wasn't here. I'm still going to keep on calling it because this is a hero that they have practiced, and they want to bring it out. I want to see them bringing it out.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker is a support that does the damage of a carry in the late 8 stage. He hits like a truck. He's very hard to kill. He's pretty nice against Relocate, right? Because he's got high base armor. He's very tanky with his HP pool. Not an easy kill.
Yeah.
But it's a very unconventional pit.
It definitely is.
The common ones would be, well, there's no Naga, but there is still a Windrunner. That's something EGM plays a lot. Keeper Light's been banned out. What's Ake going to play this? I think that's my big question. What is Ake going to play this game? No Keeper of the Light, no jungle heroes. What's plan B?
No Naga Siren either, which is like
yeah, no Naga.
So Spirit Breaker is my answer because
that's all you got.
I mean, there's Rubik. Obviously, that's a hero that he plays quite well. Shadow Demon's not too bad either. These are the more of a standard fare. If they want to go a little bit more AOE based, Jakiro's not bad, but those are boring. We've seen those before.
Yeah, and if you're up against Wisp, there's some common supports that you can turn to. Shadow Demon's great against Relocate Gank. Disruptor can be very potent against them. And no, they'll go Mirana. So they throw out the book. They'll go with something new. Actually, we have seen this before from Loda. When the last time they ran Mirana, they did an aggressive try Mirana, Shadow Demon plus Enchantress.
Enchantress didn't even show up. They didn't even need him.
It was just a dual lane.
Yeah, they use it against Weaver, who normally very, very difficult to kill in lane, but you open up with Disrupt, and then you line up the arrows such that the arrow land, when they come out of Disruption, a ton of damage output from the spells, from your right clicks, and definitely from the SD Disruption illusions as well. So let's see if they're going to follow up here with a Shadow Demon pickup.
So in a traditional Dota team, your mid player is normally the 2 role. He's sort of your semi-carry, your ganker in the mid game. The safe lane farmer is normally the carry. But this game, we may see Loda as sort of that utility offlaner role, where he's not getting too much farm, maybe your secondary damage dealer, but it might just be Bulldog who ends up being the hard carry for Alliance, and that's really where their versatility lies. They can put Bulldog in the safe lane 1v1, and he'll beat most players 1v1 with his lone druid. I'll be hard-pressed to see Navi taking 1v1, so Alliance looks like an aggressive trial lane from them. Generally, if you don't want to go aggressive, there's better heroes than Mirana, so let's see where they go.
Again, if you go aggressive trialing with that Shadow Demon Mirana kind of combo, again, what is really your support? If you go at Shadow Demon as a early game laner support, he doesn't in the mid game doesn't do too much. Now with that said, Demonic Purge is also very, very good against Alchemist. So we'll see exactly what Alliance is up to. Meanwhile, for Navi's side, what are we predicting here, especially for Funnick, especially for Dendi, because those heroes have not been drafted so far?
Yeah, for Funnick, his 3 big heroes have been Darkseer, Bounty Hunter, and I would say Windrunner. We used to see him play a lot of Clinks in the safe lane role, but they don't have the kind of draft for that. So I don't expect to see a Clinks this game. That would be really greedy against Alliance. Doesn't match up that great against Lone Druid, especially not against Bulldog. So for Navi, I'm thinking something like the Windrunner, farming the Ancients as that utility offlaner. Dendi's hero still to be determined this game. We've seen a lot of quad from him. No.
Early Razor.
It's going to be a Razor. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, Razor definitely an okay, or actually very decent pick against Lone Druid. If he's sieging your base, for example, and you have some sort of dot on him, he cannot recall it back, and that's when Static Link could just drain every bit of damage from that barrier. And that also means Razor is going to have a huge impact in the mid game. But it really predicates on the fact that you do get the damage drain off, because if you don't, Razor is not really that insane of a damaging hero in the mid game.
Yeah, and so we normally see Dendi on the very aggressive tempo controllers, gankers, snowball heroes. Razor is a snowball hero, but he doesn't have the catch-up potential of some of Dendi's other heroes.
Here comes
Alliance. And Lumi, I gotta remind you, they're on the dire side here.
The Ogre Magi is running through the crowd right now.
They're going wild.
They are. Hopefully they don't separate a costume. But Ogre Magi Alliance in the past have selected
round 2. There we go. What a costume. Unbelievable.
In the past, Alliance have selected this kind of support heroes. He doesn't do too much in the laning stage. He doesn't give you too much in a team fight. But uniquely, he gives you no other support hero can do is buff up your carries like no other. Attack speed, movement speed, and especially for that Lone Druid bearer, it is very, very, very scary.
Yeah, Bloodlust is one of the best support abilities in the game for making a carry stronger. Up there with power, perhaps even stronger. Attack speed and move speed, 2 of the most important attributes to have more of in the game. Now the ban's coming out. The Dendi Quap is removed, so it looks like they actually expect Funnick to maybe be playing this Razor. It could be an off-lane quap, I suppose.
I mean, in a 1v1 matchup against the bear, you just walk up to the bear and link his damage. What does the bear actually do? In fact, if Navi has predicted the lanes the way that they have seen it and matches up Razor against Lone Druid, I could see that actually working quite well for the Razor.
If you're Alliance, we have seen some other teams, I think Orange Esports the most notable, where KYXY will take his Lone Druid mid. I have not seen Alliance do that before. It is something they could pull out if they want to rejigger the lanes, but now it's time for our final picks, and then we hop into Game 3. Winner of this game is 1 win away from $1.4 million.
Okay, so we have
KuroKy Rubik,
Visage, and Rubik.
Is this a Dendi Rubik? Dendi Rubik? Is it back? Is it back?
I mean, Dendi solo mid Wisp is also a thing.
Yeah, actually Dendi has been asking to get that solo mid Wisp from what I've heard from other players.
So then we're going to see a solo mid Wisp?
Potential solo mid Wisp, potential solo mid Rubik. Something different is coming from Navi.
If you think about it, solo mid Wisp, actually not bad against Batrider. But we'll talk about that later as we see Lina Inverse being selected here. So this offensive tri-lane is looking damn scary. Open with Fire Blast, we follow up with Light Strike Array, we follow that up with a Sacred Arrow, and suddenly that person is dead.
I mean, Alliance, you look at this draft, and they've got great lanes. Lots of burst damage, a very strong soul in the Lone Druid, and the S4 Bat. It's a pretty classic Alliance draft when they do go aggressive tri-lane. But Navi have a lot of heroes that feel like they could just counter what Alliance is throwing their way. So now, Lumi, it's about time to get into Game 3. Winner of this, 1 win away from taking home the Aegis of the Immortal.
And they're probably going to get a lot of Aegis this game as well. Hopefully we're not going to see a 16-minute route this game. We're going to see something, a closer game, just echoing what the sentiments of our analysts outside.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about level 1 Roche, so I do want to say this is not a great level 1 Roche lineup. They can't really do it.
They got Light Strike Array.
It's going to take forever.
They got
this is not a level 1 Roche lineup, so
right,
Navi don't have to worry about that.
All right, let's see who's actually playing what here on the Navi side. 3-time finalist KuroKy will be playing your support Rubik. Dendi has swapped back to his Wisp. And is he going solo mid? We'll have to see. Funnick is going to be on Razor. Havos 4 on Alchemist. And last but not least, Puppey, Drafter, your support player on the Visage.
On the side of Team Alliance, yet to drop a set at the International 3. They lost a game, but this happened to them before, and then they took down DK. Can they do it again? Can they shut the door on Navi? We'll start to answer that question now. Alliance, EGM, your 4-position Lina, Ake, the 5-position Ogre Magi, Loda, normally the hard carry, on the semi-carry, the Marana. Bulldog will be going mid as the Lone Druid, and that puts S4 into the safe lane on the Batrider. So already, it looks like Alliance expecting Navi to do something weird, and they will be right about that, in fact. So these lanes now, I think, looking pretty good for the Alliance, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's just mind games all over the place. What Navi wanted to do is get a Wisp Batrider matchup on the mid lane, because it's actually somewhat difficult for a Bat to get the kill. You can always tether away to a creep wave that's coming to you and then run away from the Bat. Now, instead, he's going to get a Wisp Lone Druid matchup, and of course, Lone Druid has a ton of early game harassment power, especially coming from that Spirit Bear. And if you look at that Wisp, 0 armor. He is going to be taking a ton of early game harassment.
Arrow to fly. KuroKy calmly dodges it, and from the high ground, Puppey denies the haste. Smooth and polished teamwork from Navi. Alliance now will make a foray into the enemy jungle. They're going to wrap around. You're up against the solo mid Wisp. Generally, you want to ward block the small camp. But right now, Alliance not doing so, so Dendi early access to a whole lot of stacks. Here we go. The creeps have spawned. The players approach their lanes. What are we looking at?
I mean, we're looking at Dendi not really having a good time mid. How does this guy win this lane? I mean, he has 50 base damage.
He gets level 6. That's how Dendi wins this lane.
I suppose.
Don't die, get level 6. You're not going to out-farm Admiral Bulldog unless he gets a gank supporting him. He's probably not going to find a kill, but then they've got the mid-game to fall back on. So the other matchup will be the Funnick Razor against S4's Bat. S4 starting with the Arena Protection, not rusting the boots early on. So far, both teams passive, but that could all change in a heartbeat.
I mean, for Navi, they just want to keep it a passive, because if they ever make a go on this Alliance offensive tri-lane, it's going to be tough to find those kills. Loda with a Sacred Arrow right now, but most likely going to take leap in level 2, and he's really the only person you're going to be able to initiate on. Both supports staying rather far back.
Yeah, if you don't catch KuroKy, then he can disrupt your follow-up. So let's say they arrow Puppey or Havos. Then, when you come in to throw a Light Strike Array, simply KuroKy just lifts you. We'll see if it works, though. There's a Light Strike Array. No follow-up yet. Now, pulling in EGM, throwing him directly back down. Both teams a bit tentative here. So far, mid lane looking good for Dendi. 2-2 already. Very impressive against the Admiral Bulldog Lone Druid. He is slightly ahead in CS, but that's to be expected. Early on, blows being traded, but still, nobody really committing. The off lane, Razor 3-0. S4 winning this lane pretty handily.
Actually, Dendi on the mid lane is doing quite an admirable job really against Bulldog, because if you see the Wisp Spirits, he's doing a ton of damage, and he could actually get a bottle. Now, Admiral Bulldog definitely would not have the bottle crow option, so you can see Dendi, he's trying to cancel that self, trying to extend it, trying to get it. Nice juke backer by Bulldog.
It's worth mentioning, you talked about the zero base armor for Dendi. If he overextends and takes like one tower shot, that's probably a quarter of his HP. There's a regen rune top though. Dendi is about to be very, very happy. Now, generally, Lumi, when you're a mid-lone druid, you use your bear to deny the enemy solo runes, but Bulldog, he's using it to last hit, and he's too late. So Dendi, he gets a great rune, and now the lane really going well for him.
Yeah, Dendi surprisingly.
I mean, he's 2-5, Bulldog 6-7, but that's to be expected. Like, honestly, this is good for Dendi.
Well, I mean, those deny is going to hurt him a little bit in terms of heading level 6. This is a lane that we haven't talked about too much. Let's look at top here, as Funnick is on that Razor and S4 is on the bat. I gotta say, this is a fairly bad favorite matchup.
Yeah, Funnick, when you look at Razor, he's all about draining the enemy carry's damage, but
there he goes.
The sticky napalm allows you to disengage generally. He's actually going to lose quite a bit here, and he will be driven back for now. Funnick giving chase, really committing to this. We'll tank the creep wave, we'll back off.
I'm surprised that S4 has not skilled Firefly and used it when the chase comes, because you could just Firefly and fly over, and what is... I mean, Funnick's not going to chase you through the flames, right?
Yeah, holding on to his abilities here, maybe wants a Flame Break to go for an early kill. Take one in Flame Break, then one in Firefly. If you get in range, you can run him down. There's no mobility skills on the Razor, aside from his passive. Now he's going in again. S4 driven back, being lashed by the whip of the Razor. Funnick starting to come back in this lane a little bit. It was hard at first, but now he's zoning out the bat. Still no bottle forthcoming. Both teams very passive on the bottom lane. And if they're passive on this bottom lane, I gotta say that really favors Navi.
Yeah, it does, because once level 6 is gonna happen, we're gonna see KuroKy most likely, not KuroKy, Dendi, because KuroKy generally plays the Wisp, but KuroKy most likely making a relocate, maybe even walks top, relocates the Razor bot, and suddenly you have 5-man team fight for Navi on the bot lane.
And then you can bring the Razor back to top lane, so he wastes minimal time. Relocate, such a potent ability. Dendi, already level 4, close to 5. Bulldog leading in terms of experience. You'll notice this time around, sends the bear, checks the top rune. Now it's an invis, and it goes bottom. So they'll get that rune. And the denies that you mentioned are really important here. Like, every deny, Wisp is a ranged hero. It delays the level 6. But as you also stated, once he hits 6, this trialing could really fall apart for the Alliance. They're all level 2, and a level 6 Wisp can just absolutely dominate supports.
Yeah, at the same time, Dendi's got to be somewhat careful when he relocates in, because there's nothing but burst damage on this Alliance trialing. So we have Arrow, Fire Blast, Bloodless, interesting second level from Aki. Of course, EGM has 2 nukes under his own, so if he comes in and he missteps a bit, he could just get blown up.
Yeah, Bloodlust is really nice early on, because auto attacks are pretty important, and I mean, it's such a great chasey ability. We'll see if he levels it up. It synergizes great with the bear, and when you're support Ogre, levels are at a premium. He's not a great flash farmer. He's in the off lane, so going for early Bloodlust, he might not get to level up both of his other skills until much later on. I actually think this is a great build, and it could really accelerate their push and their Roshan attempts if they go for them later on.
Dendi coming on the mid lane here, using those spirits, harassing away at Bulldog. Bulldog dropping to about... Is he actually going for the kill? He really can't, but good harass.
19-12. Dendi, though, really holding his own. 14-8. And he's been saying that Wisp is underrated as a solo mid. I did cast him playing this once. It was not against the Alliance. It was against sort of what we would call a Tier 2 or Tier 3 team. He crushed. We'll have to see if he can crush them, though. They're going to be a much stauncher opponent here.
Well, level 6 is coming quite soon. I mean, generally the timing for level 6 on the mid lane is around this, although the harass...
Oh, the root comes here. No tether. Dendi's in trouble. He's got nowhere to run. He's going to be the first blood. The Bulldog root does it. And now, Alliance in a commanding position.
When you have no base armor and when he gets a lucky root on you like
Meanwhile, top lane, S4 prepping with the Firefly, but with the damage stolen, does he look to go? He's got a bottle charge here. No, he'll back off.
Yeah, he can make plays like these, and if it doesn't work out, he has a very safe escape because of Firefly.
Not once Dendi's level 6, though. Not once he's level 6, you make that play, you might just die.
Back in the mid lane here, Spirits are coming in against Bulldog, trying to get the root. If he gets a root, he could get the kill.
There's always a tether for Dendi. The next creep wave's coming. I mean, that situation mid for Bulldog was very unique, right? Because he got the root right after the creep wave was there, and Dendy was next to it. So there was no ally to tether to. It's not a dual lane mid, and there was no creeps to run away from. Sure, you can tether to them, but they're right next to you. You're not getting away. So this time around with full mana, with bottle charges, Bulldog can maybe zone him out, but getting a kill will be a bit tougher.
Yeah, we're talking about Dendy leaving his lanes when he gets level 6 for a relocate. Gank is making it happen right now on the bot lane. KeyArena, there's a leap. They want Aki first. Toss him back. One-man stand against Loda. Loda dropping low. They're going to focus him down. That's 2 kill going to Navi. We expected the rotation. Here it comes, and Dendy strikes fast and hard.
Yeah, solo mid Wisp, lose your lane, gank the other lane. That's the power of this hero. Straight back to mid, back to farming. Bulldog going for early phase boots on his bear. He loves to rush Midas, but this game, he's not doing it. Back when Armlet was something that really worked well in Lone Druid, we saw him always go for it, but phase into boots, in the safe lane, it's almost always the Midas into Radiance. So Bulldog is making an interesting adjustment to his item build.
Not too bad in this game. Again, Wisp is a very, very squishy hero in the early game, so if you kind of hit him a couple of times in lane, eat with your face boot bear, that's going to do it. But I really want to point out that normal other solo mid heroes, when they make a gank to other lanes, it takes a long time. You know, you walk there, you make the gank, you walk back or you TP back. By that time, the creep wave is working your tower. There's a barrier on your tower. But because you can relocate, spend 10 seconds there, and then you're instantly back, I mean, the creep wave never even got to his tower, so Dendy protecting his tower while putting up pressure on the other side of the map, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, the other nice thing is not only does he get the kills, but he drives Alliance off of the offensive tri-lane. Havost has a point in Greeble's Greed. It's not a Greeble's Greed max. Now they're going to mid. Tether's there. They're stealing Bulldog's damage already into big bear form. He's tanky, but is he tanking up? Funnick taking a lot of damage, but Bulldog more. Thrown from high ground to low ground. Now the chase is on. Funnick dropping fast. S4 chasing. Tether's there. He's too hard to kill. They can't bring him down. Alliance getting outmaneuvered at every corner. The bottom lane in disarray. Driven off of that. Now Bulldog falls mid. Not rushing a Midas. Nobody's really farming that well. Loda not on a hard carry. They don't have the best split push lineup. This game, Alliance, at pretty much every game, they start ahead and they stay ahead. That's not the case here.
Relocate on the back line. EGM trying to protect himself. Tether, and the EGM's going to go down. KeyArena will pick up that one. And Navi, very similar to Game 2, are rolling hard right now.
The Alliance yet to drop a set at the International 3, yet they didn't drop a game in the group stage, but here, 4-1, trailing already by 1,500 gold, 1,500 experience. Alliance has to feel like they're on the back foot. Now Loda farming top lane. Dendy relocates down, but that doesn't stop him from going to play some aggressive wards. And this is a cute thing you can do with Wisp is, hey, if you get ganked, you've always got Tether to get out, so not an easy hero to shut down. And as a highly leveled Wisp, not an easy kill. So Dendy, he's transitioning. Not that semi-carry role. He's going to show an additional form here.
Also, very interesting skill build coming out from a Razor player, Funnick. He's gone. Generally, you definitely pick up your ultimate as it's a huge early game damage. But he's just maxing his nuke. He's, you know, static link is his second priority. Very interesting.
Yeah, the nuke's just some nice burst damage, and it synergizes very well with these other supports, which are all about instantly blowing someone up. You look at an Alchemist, that's his goal. It's similar for Dendy. The orbs do an absolute metric ton of damage. So when you max the Razor nuke, if it hits you at max range and does extra damage, you can see there, 370. It really adds up.
Well, I think they're going to try to set up a play here on the mid lane. A little bit of a tether movement speed being granted to KeyArena. By the way, relocate's going to be back up in about 5 seconds.
S4's got to be very cautious. If he overextends even slightly and they get a tether stun and a lift, he'll be dead to the follow-up. Here we go.
Bot.
He's overextended perhaps. Firefly's there, heading already to the tree line. S4 juking away. They can't really do much to him here. Havost self-stunning. S4 maybe going back in. He could grab Havost. Not just yet. Waiting for Dendy to go back. Dendy's gone. And now S4. He can't go in. But Batrider, great defensive movement by S4 dodging the game.
How is that fair? You just go off the map. They can't even kill you.
Yeah, that's actually off the map. Like, if you're not Firefly'd, you can't go there. Nothing. Nothing will get you there. Firefly, though, it knows no boundaries.
Well, actually, missing that gank and not having relocate for the next 50 seconds or so is going to be somewhat annoying for Navi, because what they want to do right now is keep up pressure and make sure that nobody on the map is farming. You can still load up very confidently, going up forward up top, getting a couple of last hits. Mid lane, they're not really scared too much either, because relocate is down.
Yeah, I agree. It's a setback for Navi, but I feel like the rhythm of this game is a Navi rhythm. Lots of early clashes, the potential for more, Havost farming not having to join the fights, but being able to very soon. Alliance, they're so used to playing from being ahead. They're so used to the defensive tri-lane, stacking the neutrals, stacking the Ancients, Bulldog catching up on Prophet, Bulldog going for an early Midas on Lone Druid, S4 getting a very fast tempo-controlling item like a Blink. They're not getting those items. It's just a game pace and a style that they're not accustomed to being in. They'll really have to show some versatility here because this is not their comfort zone.
Yeah, Navi definitely has shown that versatility. That's why they're always deep into those tournament running, and that's why they're still here fighting on against Alliance, despite Alliance having a great run to tournament so far.
So now, I mean, the clock's starting to tick. You're seeing big items come out. There's a Shadow Blade for Havos. There's an Urn for your Wisp for Dendi. And that next level of aggression, the second wave, it's going to be a lot scarier. Here we go. It's going to come soon. Don't be surprised if Havos TP's in. He can farm. He's going back to Agreeable's Greed Max, but we know Havos, man. He wants to fight.
I really like the way that Alliance is playing so far right now. They know Relocate's up. They got to respect the ganking power of that Relocate, but look at the player's position. You have your supports just hiding behind the mid tower, hiding behind the top tower. They are not going to show themselves on the minimap. They're not going to get picked off. Druid just jungling. He's going to slowly rotate back to the other lanes. And of course, Mirana as well as S4 will back up on the mid lane. They could confidently show themselves. So despite having very aggressive hero on Navi's side, S4 and the rest of the team not too scared.
Yeah, the problem though is they're not, I mean, they actually are keeping even in terms of golden experience, but some of these supports are starting to feel a bit underleveled. EGM only level 4, you look at Kuroki, he's already level 6 on his Rubik. Navi just getting ahead in terms of experience on these supports, and that's a big problem. Wisp, all about burst. If supports are squishy, they just melt. They also melt to out, and here comes your push bottom lane. Navi looking not only for the first blood, but now for the first tower of the game. No defense mounted by the Alliance. A bit lacking on counter push, to be honest, Lumi. All they've really got is the loot nukes from Lina, and the first tower of Game 3 will go to Navi. 13 minutes in, Dendi with the last hit.
Yeah, great play here by Navi, striking something, getting something off the map, because if you look at the experience graph for the past 2 minutes, it's all Alliance advantage. Nothing is happening. They're a lot more efficient in jungle. They're jungling with Admiral Bulldog, and now Ake's right next to him, giving him Bloodlust. If this goes on and nothing happens, Alliance will come back, and they're definitely already coming back. So Navi need to get something going. Dendi looking for a relocate.
So do you think that Alliance just have this flat out late game, or does it just come down to execution if it goes late?
I feel like there's a ton of chain stun, a ton of tank already on Alliance side. I mean, sure, Havos is going to be scary, he's going to be big, but a single root, right, a single stun against Havos, he can't really lock down. He's a melee carry at the end of the day, so that's going to be a concern. But Navi right now going towards the top lane, trying to get something going, but they are scouted by Observer Ward.
Yeah, they're scouted in their rotation to the top lane. They've got familiars here, and it looks like if they want to pressure this tower, they most certainly can. The Blink Dagger on the Batrider for S4 finally about to come out. 14 minutes in. Call it a pretty late blink for him, and now Havos duking it out with the bear. He'll take a bit of damage. Blink now secured. Navi, all these early to mid game items, Shadow Blades, Power Treads, Phase Boots, Drums, Urn. They want to fight. Will they find that fight?
Narrowly missing on the mid lane here. I think they will find the fight because S4 just picked up on his Blink Dagger. He's going to be looking to play very aggressive, maybe defend his tower or something. So far, Tier 1 tower dropping a little bit up top. Again, I feel like Alliance is very comfortable giving this early game tower. Here comes a Moonlight Shadow. I think they're trying to set up some ganks.
Navi, meanwhile, they're heading towards top. Alliance too late in pursuit. They'll back off towards mid. Kuroki is spotted. There's a blink. There's a lasso. He's running. Does he get off the limb? Too late. He's been caught by S4. Now he's dead in an instant. No relocate. Alliance finally getting on the board in the mid game. They'll pick up their second kill. And now the Tier 1 mid, it's going to fall fast. Bulldog getting closer and closer to that relic. 2.2k gold. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go for it. He really likes his farm.
Yeah, and Relic is going to be an issue because if you look at Navi's side, they have a ton of heroes that are very, very low in terms of health. So I think Alliance right now is fully in the advantage. They got a kill in the mid lane. They have got a Tier 1 tower. And in fact, in theory, they should be behind. They should be scared. But as they're roaming as 4 or 5, they're not going to get picked off. Not by Dendi.
And you talked about the tankiness of them, maybe allowing their tanky lineup just withstanding the ganks. They're also very elusive on these heroes. The Blink Bat with Firefly, we saw just with Firefly, he can dodge away from relocate ganks. Your Mirana's got leap. Your Lone Druid's not mobile, but he's very hard to kill. So if the relocate ganks stop and they're not finding them, Havos didn't go Battle Fury, he didn't go Midas, he didn't go for the greedy build, or the more farming-oriented build, I should say, that we saw last game. So they're not just going to win by out-farming their opponents. They're not building for that style. So now, they've oriented themselves to fight. They're not finding fights. Alliance are feeling more comfortable.
Yeah,
but now Navi putting on pressure mid.
Tier 1 tower siege on the mid, but I guess S4, he's got his flaming last one. I got a couple seconds.
Oh, flies the arrow. It lands on Funnick. Too far away, though, is his team. They can't engage. But that was a nice arrow. Here comes your bear. If it gets a root, they might jump. No, not yet.
This bear is already really scary. He's got no item aside from phase speed on top, but with Bloodlust, he's running very fast. He's attacking very fast.
Yeah, in theory, you talked about it, how Razor is a counter to Lone Druid, but that's assuming that Funnick can withstand the damage that comes out from Alliance. And to be honest, if he runs in with no BKB, he's in a lot of trouble. The bear starting to take some chip damage. Funnick low. Arrow to fly. Hits. What a snipe. But is there follow-up? S4 looking to leap. Not going yet. Tower's low. Familiar stun. It gets denied by the Bulldog. Now Havos fishing for a stun. He's about to self-stun. Alliance, though, not going yet. Aloda's just sniping them all over the place.
Again, I mean, that deny was absolutely huge. Navi spent 5 members on the mid lane, and they're now going back. They don't have too much to farm. If you look at the creep wave, there's a huge wave up top, so Alliance is going to clear that up. In fact, you see Navi farming the jungle as 5 members. They are definitely falling behind in terms of goal experience, and they will not keep up with Alliance. They don't have an answer for that Lone Druid once he gets a Radiance. Yeah, and you're talking about the gold, and it is going Navi's way, but you got to keep in mind that they have 1, 2, 3 towers down. Alliance only have 1. So once Alliance, if they win a fight and they get 2 towers, they maybe get a Roche. That gold graph that looks like it's Navi's favor will instantly go the other direction. Here we go. Leap onto Havos. Trapped in the jungle. Sentry Ward's prep. They found him, but Dendy wants to bring him home. No, not relocating yet. Turning around. Throwing out the stun. It's a trap. And S4 will fall. Navi were ready. They were prepared. Alliance thought they had him. There was no, even with the Laguna Blade, it just wasn't enough damage. Very, very important counter gank here. And Dendy now have both traveling as a pack. They're thinking about relocating. If they see anybody, they will see EGM on the mid tower. Oh, EGM, you thought you were safe. You are never safe from Dendy.
Wow, that was a pure anticipation gank. Because you look at it, they have vision now because their heroes are here. This Observer Ward spotted him running back, and they just knew he'd keep on running all the way to the base. Beautiful movement from Navi, leading 6-2, but they got to keep it up. They get the kills. They can't sit back and relax too much. Late game, Lone Druid, very hard for an Alchemist to deal with until he gets to 6-slot status. He can just man fight the Bear. So the mid game going to be tough. In comes an arrow, hits a creep. Off the mark from Loda, unfortunately. Now the tower falling fast. They'll maybe look for a deny here. They're still defending. Navi are going to back off. So, I mean, Alliance, they give up a kill. They're hanging on, though.
They are definitely hanging on. Again, it goes back on how the next 5-10 minutes is going to play out. For right now, in these last 2-3 games, Navi's playstyle is actually reminding me, quite frankly, of Orange. I mean, if they are getting kills, they're rolling hard, they're getting everything on the map. They're getting enemy camps, they're getting towers, but when they're not getting kills, it doesn't feel like it's the same team. So on that last 5-6 minutes where they didn't get too much done, we saw Alliance slowly accruing gold, slowly coming back, and when they do get the kill, obviously gate towers. Back in the mid lane, they're trying to gank that bear, but it's elusive. And by the way, that bear has a Sacred Relic, so...
Yeah, he's had it for a little bit now. 100 gold up on Bulldog. Radiance is forthcoming. And once the Radiance is there, Navi, they really want to gank, but they'll have to defend against that split push. The tower low, no defense in sight. The tier 2 mid will fall to Navi. Alliance, they're bending. They have not broken yet, and they're just waiting for some items here. Once those items come, though, they'll change their tenor.
Yeah, at the same time, you can't be too comfortable if you're Alliance. Sure, Radiant Spear is a big deal, but at the same time, your Mirana right now not really doing too much damage. Bat Rider is more or less just a kind of a great initiation hero. He doesn't do too much. Doesn't have a Force Staff, for example. Doesn't have a Shiva's Guard. So they are very reliant on Bulldog surviving in these team fight, and that really comes down to how well the focus fire is going to come from Navi. So we'll see how Navi places. The ball's definitely in their court.
This is yet another game that Alliance has given away the Wisp to Navi. We've seen this quite a few times, and it does force you to play differently, right? Because normally Alliance would be stacking the jungle camps, they'd be maximizing their jungle farm, they'd be stacking the Ancients, and they wouldn't be rotating as 3 or 4. They'd spread out, they'd use their wards and just their predictions, and their map movements, their anticipation, to bait Navi into fights and win those fights. But you can't do that against Wisp. If you're just there like, okay, we'll TP and we'll counter gank, no, too late, you're already going to be dead. The tier 1 bottom, now denied by Funnick. The Wisp is really forcing Alliance into a less... They're not farming as much as what they want, and it's because of the Wisp.
Both dropping quite low here.